Calling the Select Board meeting to order. This meeting is recorded via Zoom. This meeting will be recorded by a Town of West Boylston staff. I am going to do a roll call just because Jay is virtual tonight. Jay?
Here.
Raj?
Yes.
I'm here. Vanessa?
Here.
David?
Here.
All right, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, folks. All right, the first item on the agenda is public comment. This is a 15-minute period. It's an opportunity for the public to address any concerns to be considered by the board, but will not be discussed nor acted upon during this meeting. Do we have anyone here for public comment? Going once? Twice? Public comment is closed. To help Faye with meeting minutes, I'm going to go out of order. I'm going to move up because we have a few folks here, so I am going to move up the appointment of a acting police chief first, to acknowledge. I know he's here, so do we want to bring him up and you can introduce yourself to everyone? Everyone, many people.
My name is Sergeant Tom Balvin. I've worked in West Boylston for about 26 years. Worked as a police officer for almost 30.
All right. Is there any, so I'll just, I don't know if you actually know Sergeant Balvin at all, so do you have any questions?
I've met David.
David?
I know, obviously, Raj.
I'm Vanessa.
Everyone
I'm
knows.
not sure if I've met you, Vanessa. I might have.
So,
That
can,
might be a
can
good
we
thing.
ask why you want to be
I've
an
ever met
acting
Jay.
You can ask him within order, you can ask him whatever you want.
The
Do you-
question is, why do you want to be acting? Sorry, you don't know to answer.
Well, so I guess few questions that I have had come to me. Jay, do you have any questions? I always try to be respectful.
Yeah, no, I do not.
Okay. So you've been here a long time. I imagine you know everybody in town, how everything, well, most,
It's surprising how many people I meet and they say, "Oh, how long have you worked here?" And I say, "Oh, 26 years." And they go, "I've never heard of you."
well, so I assume you know many, and you'll be at the police department if anyone needs you. Will you be there during the day?
So I've changed my schedule to a Monday through Friday. I'll
Monday
be
through
there, yep, 7 to 3. Barring
What,
sick days, vacation days, trainings, that type of thing.
is there any concern, I don't know how this works in a police department, were you on shift and now we have to kind of find someone to take
No,
time?
there will be a little bit because, on a 4 and 2 schedule, I'd be working some weekends and, but it's only gonna be a few shifts. We've looked at it, doesn't look too bad.
Okay.
I'm still gonna be answering calls on many of the shifts I work because I'm just one of the guys
Yep,
there. So, that might also be, if somebody comes to talk in the office, I might be out on a call. But short of that, I'll be there.
If I can ask, is there an anticipated date where you would roll back to your prior position? Do we know?
Well, I
Is that
think
just
this is for
pending?
6 months, I was told.
Correct, 6 months, or if the, if chief is able to return to active duty before the 6 months, whichever comes first.
Okay, thank you.
all right, do you have any questions for us? No?
No, everything's, I can, okay.
Thank you so much stepping up.
Sure, here to help.
All right, hearing no other questions?
May I just make a comment,
Oh, yeah,
if you don't mind?
go ahead.
So I just want to say that I wish Chief Minnick a quick recovery from his injury. I want him to get back here as soon as possible. And I want to thank Heather and Faye, because I've had several questions, procedural town questions, and they've been a lot of help to me, just in the couple of short days that I've been doing this.
I am thankful that you just said that because many people are asking me where the chief is and I can't answer those questions. So I just kind of, since you've said it, it's now public record. So now we can just go with that.
All right, well, hearing none, do we have, I'm gonna say, a motion to acknowledge the appointment of Sergeant Thomas Belvin as acting police chief for a term of 6 months, or when the police, Dennis, our police chief, is able to return to regular duty, whichever comes first. Acting Chief Belvin shall be paid a stipend of $500 per day, per pay period.
I like that other one better, though. I mean, can we
Thank
leave that
you,
in the
Heather.
record?
No, Heather, I was gonna say, wait, can I be the chief? No. They would fire, that was like a quick typo, okay. So per pay period for the services to the town. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second,
Second.
Jay, second.
Second.
All right, roll call. Jay?
yes.
Yes, for me.
Raj, yes. I'm a yes. Vanessa?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. You are free to go, or you can stay for the entire meeting.
Is there anything police-related on the agenda?
I don't think so. I think you're off the hook this time.
That's nice. I like that.
All right.
You're free
Thank
to
you so
go
much.
after.
All right.
All right.
We're done.
Need you, just Vanessa.
Yeah, just give up.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Jay, you get a virtual. All right, so I'm gonna go next to our new town clerk, so that way she's not stuck here all night.
Do you want me to come up and sit up there?
Heather, you want, okay. I feel like because you're here, I have to like invite you up. It's only if you're not here, then I let you kind of go.
Yeah. Well, my name's Candace. I'm a new town clerk. It's very nice to meet you guys.
I feel like I met you because either Heather or Faye posted something, and I'm like, I know her. I could identify.
So Candace has been, I feel like I have a bit of seniority because now there's a new official who is starting literally weeks before a town meeting. So the baton's been passed. We have been working quite a bit on town meeting prep. Candace has some familiarity, obviously, with town meeting, but
Yes.
more importantly, with clickers. We have, I'll stop talking and I'll let you give them an update on where we are with that
Sure,
process.
sure.
Thank you.
So the clickers, I know we're a little bit of a point of contention from the last town meeting. I was prepared pretty much the first day I started. I was already aware. Luckily, I do have experience with clickers in one of my previous communities. But with that being said, I'm doing a refreshing training with myself and my assistant with the owner of the clicker company called Meridia. His name's Peter Babel. He's wonderful. It's like an hour and a half long training is on Friday. And we're just gonna kind of go over the issues that arise at town meeting, how we're gonna plan for those. And we kind of already have a game plan in mind, and then he's just gonna go over the software overall. After that, Jen and I are gonna test every single clicker to make sure no batteries need to be replaced. We're gonna make sure we test the space in between. I think it goes up to 100 feet when it's not in the same room for the receivers. So, with that being said,
The audio, visual. And
Yes.
the-
yes. So with the clickers, we have somebody coming in for the overall town meeting. We have somebody coming in, sounds by Rich, and he will be bringing all of his own equipment in terms of projectors, screens, cables, sound equipment, and he'll be helping to set everything up and helping to facilitate everything. In that main room, we're gonna have 3 screens up in the front. 2 of those screens are actually gonna have the clicker view from when a vote is cast, but not what the vote was. So it'll either gray out or it'll turn a color, just indicating that your clicker is working. So we are gonna utilize that aspect of the clicker software, which is possible. It just wasn't set up during the last town meeting.
So point of clarification, when you say that it'll show that the clicker is working, will it register that, say, clicker number 5, for example, says, yes, I see my,
Yes.
okay.
Yes, it'll be a grid view.
Okay.
So however many clickers we pass out, if there's 500 clickers that are actually out in the audience, you'll see a grid view 1 to 500. So anytime one hits a button, you're gonna see the color change on the screen. So it'll give a good visual for everybody using the clickers, just so they can have some peace of mind that they do work. It just has to be set up prior to that so they can have that view. So there'll be 2 projector screens with that view in the main room, and in the middle, there'll be another screen with a PowerPoint. So there'll be a big visual of everything happening. And we do have plans for the overflow room if we need it. And I've been,
We will need it. I
yes,
just want to tell you.
okay.
Just prepare for that room.
Okay. We also talked to Rich from Sounds by Rich about helping us facilitate the view on both screens, so a clicker screen and then a PowerPoint in the other room, the overflow room. And we're actually gonna go and measure to make sure we have exactly what we need in terms of length of cable, and if we need to order another receiver for those clickers, I wanna get that done ahead of time. So I'm just trying to prepare. I also am gonna reach out to a couple more towns and see if we can borrow any additional clickers should we need them. We only have 500, so.
I think we borrowed them from Holden last time. Was it Holden?
No, Rutland.
Rutland, yep.
She planned it for, our clicker number is 1 to something. So their clicker number is 300 to 400, something like that. She planned it like that.
Okay.
So we should be able to borrow it from Rutland.
Few things that make me think of the clickers and having heart palpitations. Will you be able to stand up and demonstrate it to folks? Like, this is
Yes.
how it works, and we might have one person in the audience who goes, well, I've clicked it 16 times. You know, something, when it, like, we have to open it and then we close it, and anything between doesn't
Yes.
work. Okay, that makes me happy.
I was also thinking, Jen and I kind of talked about maybe providing some type of minimal instruction, like a size of a note card, and just pass it out with the clicker just for this time, maybe the next time, until people are more familiar with them, just about what the buttons do. So we're gonna toy around with that and see what we can get prepared.
We're also looking at creating a video.
Yes.
Real quick, Mark Frieden, you have your camera on, just so you're aware. Okay, just I got nervous because we're moving rooms. Okay, sorry.
No, that's okay. Oh, we want to post, I'm gonna see if it's okay with Peter during my training to record some of the training, and if not, we can take a separate video of how the clickers work, but we want to prepare a small, short video just for the website so people can go on and take a look at how they are working.
That's a great idea.
That was Faye's idea and Heather's idea.
The thing is, if you watch a couple of minutes of our last town meeting, you will know all the drama
Yes.
regarding the
At
clickers.
one point, I don't know who mentioned this, but someone said that maybe they were testing the clickers with some teachers in the school.
Correct. So we're working with the superintendent. They have a few staff meetings coming up that we'll be invited to, and we can test them on a couple of different times. So they're knowing what we went through last time. They've been very gracious about including us in whatever meetings they can possibly bring us to.
So for the spillover room, do you need to have a receiver, different receiver?
I have to check how far away it is. I haven't been to the meeting venue yet. Faye and I are gonna head down there at some point this week or next week just to get an idea of the layout.
Can we borrow the receiver too from the other town?
I'm not sure. So I was gonna ask more questions on the receiver when I have my training with Peter on Friday. So I'll have more answers after that, just in terms of what the actual footage is, if they're not in the same room, how far, and then I wanna get another one if we need it. I'd rather have a backup one anyways, so.
I would be ready for the spillover room.
Yes.
Sorry. Along those same lines, I don't know if this is your purview, but I'm gonna ask it anyways. Is there a way to possibly borrow more registration tabs when people are coming
Poll
in?
pads. I don't think so, because those come from like our ballot company, LHS, and they're the ones who will give us all the data upload, so I don't think I can interchange the poll pads per town, so that would be like an additional purchase.
I believe your words, but I would just throw it out there if you could, simply because last time it took us about 2 full hours to get the line of people through
Yeah.
so it was very much a bottleneck to get that registration in.
Yeah.
So if I would implore you, saying when you speak to, let them know that at our last 2 well-attended town meetings, it took more than 2 hours to get everyone registered through the system, and that we had citizens actively leaving prior to the meeting even starting because they had other engagements so
Okay.
that's the scope of the bottleneck that we're trying to overcome.
Sure.
If that helps, yeah.
Sure. Just to speak to that, I will be connecting with all of, they are election workers, but they also work at the town meeting. Whoever is the volunteer or the multiple volunteers that I'm gonna get for town meeting, I'm gonna bring them in and just go over the poll pads. I did hear it took a very long time to check people in. I'm gonna see if we can try to speed that process along for you. The poll pads are great. It's just when you're not used to using a handheld iPad like that, I can see why it probably clogged up the entrance.
Speaking of that, how much it might cost? Maybe we could get a couple of more. Yeah.
I can double check. That's something I'll have to reach out to LHS about. So just,
Yeah, and
We had an estimate though.
yeah, so I believe the first 3 poll pads were around $20,000. I could be wrong on that, so don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure they're pretty pricey.
And it isn't the device itself,
It's a
it's the
software.
proprietary software that they load onto the device that is only
Yes.
comes from our ballot company. So it's,
Yep.
it isn't,
It links our voter registration software, and LHS is the company that provides the poll pads and the support to them, and they're the ones who take our voter registration extracts and create all of our data for the poll pads, and they work around the clock for that. So it really is mostly the software cost that's already loaded onto them, so.
so it is cost prohibitive. However, we are certainly gonna look at that and see whether, I think after Candace is able to meet her poll workers and her election workers and get a determination as to where maybe some of the delay came from, if it's if it's,
Like a user error. yeah.
well, not user error, but just the familiarity, like
Yeah.
if more practice and they can become a little quicker, or if it simply is we do not have enough poll pads to check people in, and we'll address that hopefully.
yeah, and I think we probably have enough on a general election day, because not everyone tries to cram into the same voting venue in the 2-hour window. So that is the tricky part, but I understand the software costs are a little prohibitive too.
I wonder if they have like software add-ons where you can just borrow or whatever the other, pads, but have their software for like 1 day or 2 days a year or.
Like a rental almost.
Right.
That's a good idea. I'll see if they have those, because they very well could. I know that they have extras in case somebody's breaks. So I do know that, so maybe I can ask if there's some type of like a rental we can do instead.
Can I tell you a complaint I get every town meeting that I don't know if it's accurate, but I get it online. I know all of you must get it. Everyone in the back row swears that they can't hear a word. Sometimes I've even stood up and screamed because I just, and then last year it was really great because I also got all the complaints from the overflow room on top of the regular room. I don't know how we test this, and I think I'm loud enough, not today, but normally pretty loud human. I don't know if we can ever fix it, but that is one of the complaints I've gotten for 4 years straight now.
So the
That's
sound
it, yeah.
overall.
Yeah, they just
That's why
can't hear it.
we've actually hired a sound company to come in and provide sound that is over and above what the school's existing facility offers. So they'll bring in their own speakers, they'll bring in their own video. And that way we are not relying on the school's
Yeah.
system.
Yeah.
Whether or not we can sustain that for town meetings going forward, if we have to determine how to work that into the budget. And I think that's one of the reasons that we're looking at the, at renting the video option this year.
Right.
Because we want to, before we invest,
Yeah.
we want to make sure that what is working works, and also storage. We don't have a lot of places to keep multiple TV screens. So this is going to be a great opportunity to see how the professionals will gear the room, and if we can make changes to our existing supply, our
Yeah.
existing equipment, that cuts down on the rental, that might be an option, but for now, this is the option. And I really want to thank Candace. She was very open to hearing all of it. I think day one, I handed her the survey and the survey results, which, as we know, were a bit overwhelming and not always, and
They're
she-
super helpful.
yeah, but she took it in stride and said, okay, let's see what we
We're
can.
gonna do it.
Let's see what we can cross off that list,
Yeah.
right?
We're gonna try to fix it all, so.
The one other thing is, what about the TV in the spillover room? That TV is.
So
got to go.
that will be part of the package that we're renting. So
Oh, okay.
the TV screens, as Candace described, you're gonna, in the main room, you're gonna have 3 screens. You're gonna have the screen that everybody is accustomed to looking at, which will be the large screen overhead with the PowerPoint, or whatever other, other town meeting information that we want to share. To the left and to the right of that, there'll be 2 other monitors that will be up on a stand, and those will be reflecting the clicker data, so the grid that Candace described. In the overflow room, you're going to have 2 screens, one that is mirroring the clicker data from the 2 screens in the main room, and one that is going to mirror the data from the overhead screen with the PowerPoints and other town meeting information. So ideally, the overflow room is going to have the same access to all of the information that people in the main room will have.
So this town, we used to use only $250 for the sound system. I know
We're
that,
probably going to be over that this year, Raj.
I know,
But
I'm not asking the price, but
We don't need to know.
But we are.
This time, it's
but
okay.
we're responding to the concerns that the board and residents have had, and
I know.
we're trying to make that,
Can't make something from nothing, so
yeah, but how much we can afford to spend.
how much can we afford to not spend when people feel like they can't participate in democracy? So,
All right. Thank you. Do you have anything else you want to tell us?
I'm very happy to be here, and it was really nice to finally meet you guys. I've actually, before I started listening to meetings. Well, yeah, I was starting to listen to meetings just to familiarize myself with you guys and the town overall. So it's actually nice to meet you guys in person. So
Nice to meet you
nice to meet
too.
you. Happy to have you.
Happy to be at town meeting.
I'll be there.
All right. I'm like, we already did her appointments, I don't have to. All right. I guess Tom's here. Should I free Tom? Call Tom up next and then free him or keep him here? Heather, it's your call. We can make him sit here. I'll do it at the end. We'll have him go next.
Paid.
All right, Tom, come on up. I don't know what you're gonna say to us. I'm actually looking here. You're gonna go through a plan, I'm guessing, and
so
90,
yeah.
chapter 90?
Yep. So Tom so the documents that were put into the packet
Yep.
did not transfer as well. They were hard to see. So he's provided you paper copies, especially the chapter 90, the color spreadsheet. That's a little easier to see in paper form than it was in the packet. So thank you, Tom, for spending your color.
You're
and
welcome.
Not us.
Oh, yeah, I was swearing a lot trying to get it all together, but I got it. So excuse me.
So, Tom, you want to start with the parks maintenance? Just maybe focusing on some of the challenges that you encountered this last season?
Can I also kick it off by saying, I sent numerous emails about this, because I get numerous complaints about this, to the point where someone told me that I got a new mower, and that I should just go mow the lawn, was the response I got from someone.
To help us out.
I don't know what they thought, but I've also been asked to pick up a rabbit raccoon, so it's a variety of things they assume
DPW.
that we do, so I'm very happy you put it together. I almost want to publicize it so that we redirect humans to this document. if they have questions. What do you think? I don't know.
Exactly. It's been started and drafted before.
Okay,
I've gone through it with the crew. We've worked on it a bit. I've given it to the Parks Commission to look at it too. So with the two commissions, the Select Board and the Parks Commission, maybe we could figure out exactly what needs that have to be put in here or not put in here. Right now, it's basically a rough draft, and we've gone with our day-to-day work. And we try to make it as basic as we possibly could. They had it in there before with a lot of different hours and stuff like this, but I worked with Derek, the parks lead, and we broke it down a little bit more, but there's always, room for improvement. There's some things in here I noticed too on the way here, driving here, I forgot about the bunker rake. There's hours and hours with the bunker rake that you go through the clay and you rip up all the grass growing through the clay in the infields.
oh. I didn't know what it was, sorry. I was like,
Yeah,
what's a bucket?
and then there's also sod cutting, which takes time. You sod cut the outer edges that rise up more, so, when your young child goes out there to catch a ball and gets hit in the face with the baseball because of the big old bump at the beginning of the infield or the outfield. Yeah, so we try to take that down, and that takes time. So these are things I gotta put in there and figure the timetables and stuff like that, with the two personnel that we have.
That is key, because I think this gives, in all things, everybody wants everything cheaper, and they want more of it. And I think this gives the reality of like, there's all this day-to-day work on top of all the special initiatives that everybody wants done, the special projects that are outside of just maintenance and support. So I think that's one of the things that
And the
highlights.
multiple areas that the two personnel have to go to all the time. And never mind the other needs in the DPW, whatever happens, emergencies and stuff like that. So they're pretty stressed out. A lot of times we tend to help them with the highway side, like the beginning of spring, when it's really hectic and grass starts going crazy with the fertilizer and stuff. So it's a work in progress. And then in the back, the last page, I basically, a lot of people were asking about the irrigation times and stuff like that. And that's another thing that takes time. The irrigation's very old. It needs a lot of work. We've been working on, we found out this summer that there were a lot of leaks we had to take care of, took a lot of time, do a lot of digging, put a lot of parts in. We still possibly have one more leak. We thought we had it. We can't find it at all. But the system now on Artesian is running properly, and town water's always been running properly, but that kills our budget. So we try to stay with the Artesian. So I gave you a little snapshot of that, of how we run it. And then we can, with the Park Commission, we can work it out and come up to a final 2025 copy.
I mean, I'm just looking at it now, so, I mean, I don't have any, Heather, do you want to say anything about it?
Well, I just want to point out that there is some concerns with the irrigation equipment at fields A and B that I think we should probably be looking at for some capital improvement at the May town meeting. When they're not able to produce and we have to default to the town water, it really is very expensive, and I think that some preventative maintenance or even some replacement of some of those wells might serve us better in the long run.
We've done, I don't know if it's this one, and it might be before my time. I know we spent a lot of money on like buying like things we were fixing, like a pump or something, because it wasn't strong enough to get up the hill for one. So is this something where you think, it's like me going to mow a lawn, but is it somewhere where like we have someone that does irrigation actually come out and say, this is what you need, this is how it goes? Just because it's that, or like you guys are trying to identify leaks places. I don't know.
We actually identified so many of them. And then the Parks personnel, highway, myself, were involved. We got to the point where we squeezed it all the way down to the street and didn't know if it leaks in the street, the side, but the pump, it just wasn't acting right. It was like running itself in a circle, and it was heating itself up in the pipe. So I'm like, a majority of us are going, it's got to be the control panel. And then finally, we brought in FW Webb, and they run these systems all the time. So it ended up being a problem with the control panel, and he said it either got struck by lightning, something happened. There's another thing too, that one of the parks commissioners said, maybe it's a battery problem during the winter. Maybe it dies and it kills the brain. And I'm going, it was put in 2 years ago. I'm like, it's gotta be like a computer. It's gotta save pretty much everything. But now it's, knock on wood, it's working well. But
I mean, we'll see next
going on
summer.
what you're saying on the Capitol, I'm thinking, Mr. Blake from the Parks Commission, he, hardworking individual, he put in two new pumps with FW Webb. He helped the process, all that work. So we're good with those components. The components that are out in the fields are bad,
Like the
and they're
actual,
deteriorating.
like the actual irrigation systems you're saying, or?
Yeah.
Well,
It's
that's-
old, it's cracking, it's dissimilar materials all over the place. There's no tie cards, there's no plans, there's no nothing. So we're basically just trying to, without digging up the whole place, we're finding it as we go by boxes.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I imagine companies that do this have like a, I don't know, some machine that shows leaks in the ground so that you guys aren't,
Well, the water departments, which I've had many years working in, can work with a lot of different materials. When it comes to AC pipe and plastic pipe, very tough to locate leaks. Unless you have a leak that's going right on a rock or something like that, where your hydrophonic ears can actually hear the rocks tumbling, and then you can locate it. But if you have a sand bed and it's leaching into the sand and then going out, you're not gonna find it.
Do we have access to a thermal camera of any kind? I ask because I've seen where thermal can also help locate deltas in the temperature when you're looking across the field type thing. Depends on how deep your lines are, but
Well, that's a good point right there too. We get about 2 feet. Winter is a good time. What happens, the water is probably at about 58 degrees, 56 degrees during the winter. And if you've got frost on top, if there's a leak, usually you'll be able to see an area that's not frozen or have frost on it. And you know there's a leak there because it's coming to the surface and it's warming the area up. But going back to the Capitol, that's one of the big things we should look into, is revamping that system at some point and figuring out what we do with where do we put the kids in all the different fields.
please don't bring that up right now. That's a
I'm
Parks
sorry.
Commission problem,
I
and I
know.
don't want to hear that.
I sign all the
will-
permits every year.
All right, so this looks great. You're working on it with the right folks, which would not be me. Maybe if you guys think you are. Heather, you don't need us to do anything, no motion. This is
No,
just
I
a,
just wanted you to have that,
Awesome.
and to sort of plant the seed that we may be looking at some capital expenditures in the spring for irrigation.
looks good.
No pun intended.
All right, the next one is my copy here, which is the Chapter 90 money.
Yes, you have the fiscal year '26 is the first 2 pages. And that should be coming out soon, if not out already. I just don't see it. I was talking to Isabella from Mass DOT.
So bottom line, in the bank, we have about $1.3 million.
Yes, if you go to the next page, the colorful one, you add the right column, 768, 590, and then you add that one, we're about 1.3 mil.
So we
And-
can do some projects.
And with that, I'm looking to do some paving, probably bidding right after the new year. Right now, we're late in the season. By the time you do a bid now, you're like in November.
Could I ask one question, Heather? Does this normally, I'm only asking Heather because I've seen it done differently, so I actually don't know the right way to do it. Is chapter 90 where it still has to go if it's over 25,000 through CIB and then it comes to us? Because one time it went to us and then it was over $25,000, like if we're buying a truck or something, and then a member of CIB said, no, you have to go through us, and then it kicks. I'm just wondering how we do this part.
So Tom is meeting with finance and CIB as well.
Okay.
This is not even something that you necessarily have to approve tonight, but we've brought it in a couple of times. The first time was with a much longer list. So your motion tonight could be that you approve the use of the Chapter 90 monies for the following projects, contingent upon CIB's support. Essentially, they are the select board's monies. CIB is an advisory, so I think.
So I just want to make sure we don't, I saw the motion and then someone said, well, you can't make the motion until we make the motion, and then we had it was a couple years ago, and it was, I think, like a dump truck or a bed to, something happened. All right, so we did get that list. It was like a list of streets with problems or something. So this here, what you're recommending is a few roads in town to do paving, line striping, drainage work.
The drainage work is separate.
Okay,
The paving and line striping, they're on different streets, but it's all pretty much in the same. The paving, I'm working off lists from the past and what I've been studying lately through all our paperwork and whatnot on our computer. Something that I want to look at developing a little bit better, a better plan, so I can come to the select board as the years go forward. You can see like a 5 and 10 year plan. But right now, this over here are some pretty bad roads, and there's a lot of them out there. And I wish I had the money to fix them all. But right now, we're gonna start working on what we can, and every year, hopefully, we get a good amount of money from Chapter 90, because my budget itself is only $28,000 a year, and that
Where's
doesn't
this
take too
list?
much.
Where's the list of what you're thinking about?
I believe it was presented to us a couple meetings back.
Do we,
But you have a,
Well, actually, I'm sorry,
no, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Heather. Right on the color copy,
yeah,
I kind of wrote it at the bottom.
so is it the one that starts with?
Yeah, so it'd be like a little cheat sheet at
But
the bottom of it.
It's also on your agenda in the motion.
Okay.
Thomas, Yorktown Road, Maplewood Ave, Longview Street, Parker Street, and Tom, we practiced this.
Or shake them.
Shake 'em.
Okay.
Shake 'em.
Achoo.
do they have, so, that's why I was asking, do they actually have the motions on theirs, or is it just me?
I printed it for everybody.
Okay, all right. That's why I was like, do I,
I see.
okay.
I didn't-
And do we have is it a total of 700,000, or is it
700,000 is for the paving,
Okay,
and 40,000 for the line striping, and 75,000 for the drainage work on Prospect. So for a total Chapter 90 appropriation of 815,000, which leaves you a balance of approximately 540,000, I believe,
Right
was the
around there.
math.
that's great. All right. So since you guys have the motions in front of you, do you have any more questions, or would anyone like to make?
I do have a questions. Is there a plan on fixing the catch basins?
The catch basins will be
Yeah,
in that,
on that main roads.
yep.
But what about the other roads that may need fixing the catch basin? I'm talking about the main roads, like the Temple Street.
Yeah, Temple,
You one of those catch basin, you just put a cold asphalt on top, one of the catch basins that needed.
we're actually looking at Temple
Temple is, you know,
Coming
we have
into
so
here.
many catch basins that needed.
We're, can I mention that?
Of course.
We're looking at a grant that we could possibly use to do Temple. Temple has a lot of structures that are deficient, that need a lot of work.
So when that could be the grant and,
That's what we're gonna try to do.
no, when we may know the grant?
We're gonna work on it next week.
Raj,
File it.
it's the Complete Streets grant.
Oh, okay. But the problem is, you know, there have been, you know, lot of, the cars goes by,
Mm-hmm.
people are hearing the noise, I told you that earlier. So that needs some sort of fixing, even if it is not a complete build,
Yeah,
some of those things, you know. So that may need it, like a cold patch, you put it, that works. The resident, you know, see now.
all the time we covered that one,
Yeah,
yeah.
so that works,
So you're looking for something immediate?
something immediate, because people has
Okay.
to sleep, right?
Well, Paul's already been out there marking it,
Yeah,
so we're calling it dig safe on it anyways, because we're not exactly sure how long it's gonna take us.
yeah, the
So-
grant, you know, it's up in the air.
Yeah.
We may or we may not get it.
Mhm.
So this needs, people has to sleep, so that's what I'm saying.
Yep. And one last thing, going on the drainage, just to make you aware of that project there. When I first got in here, it's been a year and a half now, when I first got in, we got a call from person at 107 Prospect, corner of Franklin Street, had a problem, the yard's sinking. Their grandfather took a step in the yard, took a dump, fell over. Next thing you know, he sees a pipe. We got called over there, we find the pipe. It's a 36-inch steel pipe. Old, they call it tin whistle. It's corrugated like that, but it's 36-inch. And it goes from the woods, you know how you go up to the golf course? The woods on the left at Prospect in Franklin?
Yes.
It goes from there, it goes diagonal across the road, underground, into their property, by the side of the house, to the back of the house, to a stream. And it's getting ready to cave in. So we called in a company to give us a price on a total repair, well, not like an excavation, because that would be, you're talking probably $500 to $1 million in reconstruction of someone's property, house, God knows what. So we came, what they do in the sewer and drainage industry is they do in situ form. It's let's say a pliable bladder that you put inside the pipe, and then they heat it up, and it's like epoxy. It adheres to the interior of the pipe. But before that, they do the cleaning, they do TV, camera, check it out, clean it all out, and then they put this sleeve in. Then they superheat it, and it sticks to everything inside, and it creates its own shell. And the shell's probably about 3/4 inch thick, and that'll hold up anything.
So you'll lose a marginal amount of volume that you can pass through, but you end up with a reinforced pipe at the end.
Exactly.
How long is this pipe?
They
Approximately?
were talking, I think, 70 years plus.
No, I'm sorry, as for the age, I'm saying length is in distance, yes.
We're
Sorry.
about 130 feet.
Okay.
And I told Paul, my foreman right off, that's 100 and something easy. They came back with 72, 75. I was like, wow, that's a good deal, we need to do it.
Are there other pipes in town that you're aware of that are
There's
in
actually a
similar
small
condition?
bridge project that we're trying to get a grant. We actually have it through our engineers, but it hasn't passed yet. There are other bridges that beat us out,
Okay.
but we're still in the running. And so we took this company over there, they took a look at it, and they could actually spray that for a little over $100 and something thousand. Spray about close to a 1-inch thickness.
You're saying on the bridge itself or on a pipe around that bridge, you're saying?
It'll be like a half shell and hold the whole bridge. And that's good for 30, 40 years.
And they guarantee that as part of their?
Yep.
Okay.
So I do have one more question. You know, I think, you know, the DPW did some work on the Upper Lee and Goodale.
Correct.
Top corner, that's all done?
That's done.
Is there any other work or?
No, right now it's working out great. We've had some serious storms since then, since it was put in.
No more puddling?
And no, the drainage system that the company came up with, that we worked with them in coming up with it, we got all the parts and everything, and it works great right now. The only thing we gotta worry about is sedimentation.
Thank you, Tom.
You're welcome.
All right, Tom, we could talk about pipes, whatever that word is that you just said all night. But I think in front of us is a motion to approve the use of the Chapter 90 funds. It's a total of $815,000. Thomas Street, Yorktown Road, Maplewood Ave, Longview Street, Parker Street, Shakeham Street, for line painting, and 75 for drainage work on Prospect Street. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconds from Jay. No further discussion? Hearing none. Jay?
Yep.
Rob?
Yes, for me.
Anna, yes?
Yes.
David, yes. All right. You're free. Unless you want to hang out here all night, totally your call.
I'm hanging out with you
Kind of
guys.
exciting. All right.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome. Thank you. Heather?
Yes.
I'm looking at two other ladies in the audience. Should we do them next?
Well, they're here for solid waste to
Yes.
talk all things trash.
So excited.
It is their favorite topic.
Well, you know, it's everyone's favorite topic right now, so.
Right.
Should there be questions
Yeah.
on anything?
Yeah.
All right, do you want to?
I rely very heavily on SWAT for the historical background of the program, so should there be questions as we talk about the proposed enterprise fund, they are the.
Let's do that next
Okay,
then.
great, thank you. So, we've talked about this a couple of times. Each time I bring you a revised proposal that sort of adds new material and tries to answer additional questions that is asked by the board. Where we are now in this process is we have our final contract numbers from Republic, who collects the trash. We now know what Casella's new contract is going to look like. We know that it's going to be about a 45% jump from what we were paying before. We were paying $86 per ton. Their new contract is $125,000. I've talked to Norma a little bit about that and whether or not there are opportunities to speak with other potential vendors. And I also have met yesterday with Republic to see who they might be willing to work with, because so one of the catch-22s is that whoever hauls our trash has to be able to meet at a convenient location that is cost-efficient for Republic to get the trash. So there is, and if that distance is greater, then we're paying Republic more money on this end. So we really are in a very precarious situation where we're using two companies and trying to coordinate them somewhere in a cost-effective middle. So Republic did have some connections with another company that is a lot smaller than Casella, that other communities in our general vicinity have been working with. So we're going to reach out to them and see if they can price better than Casella's $125 per ton, and if they're able to provide a service that is convenient and connects to Republic, so we keep that price stable and where it is. Some other conversations we've had with Republic recently is whether or not going back to whether the town is going to purchase carts or lease the carts. Some conversations about whether they'd be willing to do a lease-to-own program. They did say that that would impact the cost of our monthly and annual service, because that would be a greater cost, but it might be something that, if it saves money on the other side of things. So I guess the short answer is the numbers are still coming together. So the important thing is that we've narrowed down some scenarios of where we feel we found some good middle ground. Right now, depending upon the whether we bill this program through the municipal light plant or we bill this through the sewer and the sewer enterprise, we're looking at about $30 per household. And that is still contingent and still maintaining the pay-as-you-throw bags. The reason that we are looking at a pay-as-you-throw bag is because that does, demographics and the statistics show that it will keep your tonnage down. And if we're paying $125 per ton, obviously there's an incentive for us to keep the tonnage as low as possible. So that is sort of the baseline of the program. We're looking to have some public information sessions where we can get into this in more granular detail. I've provided the board with 2 handouts that have some FAQs and some other points that I think will be really relevant to residents as they want to know more about this program. And welcome your feedback. If not tonight, then certainly at a later date. The first public hearing is October 1st. So there's a little bit of time to get those materials fine-tuned. And then the next step, and I think what's kind of important maybe to state again, is that the October town meeting there is no financial buy-in. We're not going to be asking residents for any money in October. We're not asking the town to commit any funds in October. What we are looking for is town meeting to vote to establish the legal format of the enterprise fund, and the article that will be on the town meeting warrant is really a very basic, straightforward. We vote to establish this fund under the appropriate MGL authorization. And then in May is when we would come back with a budget that reflects solid waste. And when I say a budget that reflects solid waste, it'll be a budget that does not have solid waste costs in it, and therefore theoretically reducing either the amount of any proposed override or theoretically the override in general. We know that we're looking at a $700,000 to $800,000 deficit in our budget that was projected last year at this time. That number has not gone away. We don't know what any of our personnel costs are going to be, which is the health care and those retirement pension funds, which we know have a tremendous impact. So this continues to be my way forward to prevent significant override, as well as what I would consider somewhat dire budget cuts. I'll stop talking, and if the board has questions about what I've presented, I'm sure Norma and Julianne can answer.
I'm thinking here, I'm just looking, so you don't need a motion from the board. I'm more curious to see the information sessions. That's where you get like what are
Absolutely.
people thinking? How are they gonna ask the question? How are we gonna articulate it? And that really gives, how is it gonna be perceived at town meetings? So, I mean, personally, I would go with anyone on the board. I always look to those, because I did the same kind of with the override. It's like, where are people gonna be at? Almost like a Q&A form of, that's what we did, like, here's all the questions we heard online. Here's all the questions we received in like the public, the forums. And that kind of helped us I wanna say be successful at town meeting.
I was there.
I was gonna say,
was
it's
there.
like kind of
Yeah,
like, I
yeah.
feel like it did help alleviate. People felt informed before walking in the door, but I also know a lot of people did door-to-door knocking for dollars and educating,
Right.
please show up. So I'm wondering if we get that same kind of.
Yeah, and I understand there is going to be some trepidation. People did come to the town meeting in May. They voted an override. Understanding that that allowed the town to move forward with a 5-year contract with Republic that we needed to sign in order to maintain collection services past July 1st. It was overwhelming, the support that that override received for that service. Now we're coming forward 5 months later, and we're saying, thank you, but in order to sustain this service without significant cuts to the budget in other departments, we're asking that this service-based program be removed from the general fund and put into an enterprise, just like you pay for your sewer and your electricity. I know it's easier said, and I'm trying to sort of continue to project this as a very positive, that this is something that makes a lot of sense for the town's sustainability. However, I do know this is going to be a tough sell for a lot of residents. And I also understand that there's going to be a lot of questions and concerns about the pay-as-you-throw aspect of it, because not only are we going to ask you to pay a monthly fee, but we're going to continue to ask you to pay for those bags. I do strongly support the pay-as-you-throw program, especially when we're looking at a 45% increase in tonnage. That is just such a significant increase in cost.
If I could ask a couple of follow-up questions on that. So, on the pay-as-you-throw program, that increase from $86 to $125 per ton of trash, that, to be clear, is that per ton of recycling and trash, or just trash?
It is recycling and trash.
Okay, so there's, other than the environmental positives of recycling, there's not a financial incentive to the town for, at the residential level, to say, oh, I could possibly recycle this, it should go there, that kind of thing. It's, weight is weight. Okay.
It is weight.
Okay. And that increase from 86 to 125 per ton is based on our current agreement with Casella, or are we?
No, our current agreement with Casella expires December 31st. So we
Okay.
have a proposal for January 1st, which picks up, and the proposal is 125. They are stating whether or not, and we can dig in. We've spoken at length, or Norma's spoken at length with our regional coordinator. We know that communities are paying between 120 and 140.
Okay.
So Casella feels that they're maintaining West Boylston still at the lower end. However, it's a
Sizable jump,
It's a jump.
certainly.
But, I'm not, I haven't, we're not signing anything yet. We're gonna continue to look at what our options are. But I have taken that new number and factored it into
Sure.
the overall
No, that
budget
makes sense.
modeling. And that increased, we were theoretically at $28 per month, but now with this new factor, I'm looking at 30.
This may be more of a question for the folks on the spot, but so our current trash, so Casella and our trash pickup service they have their agreement today, right? Where entity A picks it up at the street level, they go to the agreed upon location and transfer. Since the back half of that hauling service, if you will, is up. Does Republic have a preferred vendor? I know you said I believe you're speaking to them to see, do they, and if, I don't know, if we were allowed to have the SWAT group come up, and present their info since we're asking.
You've had more historical conversations with them. I don't know if that's something that has come about as part of your conversations. I don't know if you want to come up for
You
a
get to
minute.
come to the mic and state your name, Norma. You're the chair now, right? Okay, so you get to speak. So she can speak on behalf of her board.
Norma Chanis, I'm chair of the SWAT committee.
Thanks for taking the question.
I can't say I have heard them say they have a preferred partner in this. I do know that distance-wise, it's convenient for them to get from here to there or anywhere else in between. So the pricing is based on how far they need to travel.
On both sides.
Yeah.
I had heard at one point, costs went up because we had to train. We were training trash somewhere.
A lot of the trash in Massachusetts is going by
Train
train
basket,
or by truck to poorer communities in the south and out west. And that's what's happening with all of New England's trash. We are running out of places to put it. There is no somewhere else for it to go. And yeah, and it's expensive. And like all businesses right now, insurance is crazy. And insurance for that line of work is pretty high. Moving to the carts helps them with the driver's insurance, but not the processors.
I just have, so mine isn't even a question for you folks. It's a question that I've gotten pretty regularly from when we did the first time ever upgrade to the cost of bags in 14 years, and everybody, I still get questions, why did you do that? But for the bag program, I do think you should be prepared for why are we doing green bags? I used to say, and I've learned not to, the green communities, I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice. The green communities grant, and then, I don't remember who it was, someone said, well, what do we get? We don't, if you have to do the bags, it helps us get points or something into some.
For a different set of state funding, yes.
Yeah. And then I said that thinking it was a good answer, and someone said, well, really? So how many times have we gotten that? And I was like, touche. Like, I mean, it was like, so I couldn't do that. So I think
So
that
it's-
same person
It is the
gonna be there.
recycling dividends grant program, not the green communities. Green communities is more of an energy-based and energy efficiency based grant program. We refer to it as RDP. It is a program that we participate in annually. We get the majority of our points that our grant award is based on is through the Wachusett Recycling Center. So the work that group does greatly enhances our eligibility for recycling dividend program funds. That is about $10,000 a year. It is not a wow number, but it is money that we do have coming into the town. It is based into your into your budget models as a revenue source. The pay-as-you-throw bags, do you have a thought as to what the percentage is of the points that we would earn for that program?
I can't give you the percentage, but I can say, as she mentioned, the work at the recycle center benefits West Boylston, but it also benefits the other 6 towns that we work with. West Boylston gets twice as much money as any of the other towns, including Holden, who is much bigger than us, but they don't have pay-as-you-throw. You get extra points for having pay-as-you-throw, and it also gives you a higher value to the other points that you get generated. So it's helpful there, and numerous communities, when they've gone to carts, have done away with a pay-as-you-throw program, and a 40% increase is what most anticipate seeing.
That's why I just say I'd be prepared, because that's one of the number one questions. The number 2 is, so the pay-as-you-throw revenue will now be put in that trash enterprise fund, so that'll offset our cost. And I was like,
Yes.
I have no clue, so
Yes.
that might be, just be one you guys could,
No.
It'll be
It
another
absolutely does.
part of what's funding it, yeah.
okay.
It's the revenue as well as the cost of the bag. So we are accounting for pay-as-you-throw on both sides of that budget model. So that's, so that's part of the transparency that we're looking for, is to be able to demonstrate every cost. It isn't just the hauling fee, and it isn't just the collection fee. There are other program costs, including what we're finding is the indirect billing, which is still going to be more cost-effective than if we started a third municipal billing service. So piggybacking on the sewer enterprise or the municipal light plan is still, I think, more cost-effective and efficient, but there are costs to both of those. And we're still sort of working through which one makes more sense. And we do know that the pay-as-you-throw is going to be a challenge, and, I think another conversation that we need to be able to have is, how do we know, once those cart covers are closed, how do we know that all of the residents have put that bag, put the appropriate bags in? There are, when I spoke with Casella about this, and I spoke with the Republic about this, I mean, there are ways of tracking that. And it just really comes back to, and that data will be available to the town. It's just going to be a matter of what we want to do with that data, and whether or not we want to assign staff to checking trash. So still.
Maybe not say that in your presentation.
Yeah, so, but still, these are conversations that we know we're gonna have, that we're gonna be having at the, public hearing sessions, and certainly we need to be prepared to answer them, not just because the residents need to know the answers, but because we need to know the answers when we're implementing this program.
And I figured, I don't want to turn this into a solid, I don't want to turn it into one of your information sessions, because we could ask questions all night and stay on this. So maybe we.
One other thing here, I think, this is not the only company bid on this contract. So there are 2, 3 other companies on
On which contract?
the coming contract. Do we have 3?
For Casella,
Yeah.
for the hauling,
Yeah,
there are. However, to what Norma was saying, if we choose a company that is a further distance than where Republic, you can say it
So
more articulately.
hauling, we had multiple people bidding on it. You've already signed that. This is now to handle what's been picked up. And right now, we only have a bid from Casella.
just only one.
Heather's looking into other possibilities.
Yes, like I said, we haven't signed anything, but what I'm saying is, and I think it's really worth repeating, is that we may find somebody that would haul for 120 or 115, but how does that impact the Republic side of the cost?
Right, if you want it trucked up to New Hampshire, we're just gonna pay somebody else to do it.
So saving money on one side doesn't necessarily mean saving money overall.
Okay.
And these are things I'm learning as I'm going. I mean, this has been such an education. But again, we'll continue to work on that. So the article is in the town meeting warrant, so that would be the space to sort of acknowledge that this is moving forward for a vote at the town meeting.
Okay. No other questions, so I can free them. Good luck on your information sessions. I
Thank
might
you.
be in the back, not answering questions.
Thank you for the info.
Thanks. All right. Well, now I've totally messed everything up, so I don't. Heather, what do you want to go to next? I mean,
Well, let's see.
how about we do
How about we
warrants?
go back to warrants? You wanna,
Have a nice night.
you wanna approve the warrants and start at the top?
I mean, why not? All right, a view, and I have to tell everyone, my allergies spiked up, so sound like this, I'm like losing my voice. Review and vote to approve warrants for the period covering September 4th, 2025 to September 17th, 2025, as listed in the agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Jay?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't want to monopolize. I know Raj hasn't taken the opportunity to second the motion lately. Second.
All right, thank you. I'm guessing no further discussion. David?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes for me.
Yes.
Raj, yes.
Yes.
I'm a yes. All right. All right, new business. So consider approving a secondhand article license for Treasurers Discovery LL Link? What? I've never even had a secondhand,
Treasures Rediscovered LLC.
a secondhand article? I don't know what that is. I've never heard of that one, so
It's a used article store.
I thought it was a different type of,
No, my understanding is that the
it's just a business license?
Treasures Rediscovered is having a second vendor come in and provide a service for their customers. Poochie's.
Poochie's is having this
Oh.
company come in
Okay.
to buy, maybe used gold, old items, so they need a secondhand license.
Oh,
We have a couple locations in town that does have this secondhand, like the antique stores are considered
got it.
a secondhand.
I was like, I've seen the business license. I don't know if
I
I've
had
ever.
to ask also,
remembered.
I've never encountered it.
All right. Any discussion on this one before we have a motion? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Raj, so Jay. Jay?
Yep.
Raj?
Yes.
I'm a yes.
Yes.
Beautiful. All right. Consider approving the one-day pouring license for Seven Saws for Fall Fest, October 2025, 2020. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Hearing no discussion. Jay?
Yep.
Raj?
Yes.
I'm a yes. David?
Absolutely.
So excited that I went in order. All right, building inspector renewal. So this is for 1 year. We are still in partnership with the town of Sterling and Boylston for building inspection services. This is one I did send a note because I do get all kinds of feedback on zoning enforcement. And I know when we originally signed this, that was something that was brought up as something we needed, and we wanted to make sure we wanted to keep it. And there were questions about what happens when we don't have, there's a guy in the office and he's there answering questions. So I'm bringing that back up because
So
here.
I did reach out to our permitting authorities as well as our public safety department heads and ask them for their feedback. I won't read all of it, but I did hear back from the Zoning Board of Appeals. In the time that this agreement has been working in the town, I've noticed a significant improvement in zoning enforcement generally. In fact, I think the current commissioner is as good of a zoning enforcement agent as we have had in the 13 years that I've been on a town board. As regards to cost, I think that a competent and consistent zoning enforcement officer, even if the current expenditure was to be increased relative to years past, more than pays for itself in terms of fairness, efficiency for the town and for the developers, and in terms of the avoidance of litigation costs to the town. His interactions have all been very positive. He feels that the commissioner is professional and excels at his job.
That's great news because they're one of the boards that have
They
issued
would be,
complaints to me.
yep.
Okay.
I spoke with the fire chief. He feels that not getting into too many specifics, but that the difference between the current building commissioner, zoning enforcement, is night and day from what existed prior. He spoke specifically to building code enforcement, feels that there were a significant number of code issues that he encountered as a fire chief when he started working here, that went unresolved, and that he felt that since this new commissioner has been on duty, that those code issues are resolved quickly and effectively. He also stated that having access to the online permitting has really been a game changer for the department because they can access those permits immediately at any time of the day or night. Talked with the planning board chair, he had some specifics. The planning board would like to see that job description to include participation in board meetings, so that there was somebody available to address concerns that the planning board would have during the course of their meetings. That was an issue that came up during negotiations with the new IMA. As you know, this program, the host town is the town of Sterling, and it is also shared by the town of Boylston. Both of those towns didn't, sort of 2 to 1, not to change the job description to include the attendance at board meetings, in particular planning, simply because both of those towns have the town planner position. West Boylston does not have a town planner position. Their thought was that they are not going to pay for the town of West Boylston to use the building commissioner as a town planner and avoid having a town planner's position. Whether we agree with that perspective or not is certainly debatable, but I understood where they were coming from, that, if we would like town planner services, that's a position that we should look beyond the building commissioner to fill. That being said, those were the comments that I received back, and I think they were overwhelmingly positive about not only the agreement, but also the individual that's serving in that position. I will say that in the last year, we have brought on an additional local inspector. So each town has its own local inspector, but we're also able to, when that inspector is not available, they can fill in from community to community, and that has increased the level of service that we're able to offer.
So can you tell me,
Can I say, oh, go ahead.
I was
You
just gonna
finish up,
say,
and then I'll-
can you, the cost of this agreement versus last year, what's the increase?
There is no cost increase,
No increase.
$75,000,
So 75K a year?
yes. You're getting your building commissioner, 1.5 local inspectors, plumbing, wiring, and gas inspectors as well. So all of your inspectional services are covered under that agreement.
I'm sorry, that's building commissioner and then 1.5 personnel on top of that.
One and a half local building inspectors.
Okay.
And
Inspectors,
then
thank you.
your,
So, but those
utilities.
local inspectors are charged by the inspection, so those are all not from the $75,000, right?
well, the cost of the inspections does.
Covers
sub-
that.
But you're also paying for the opportunity to have access to those individuals.
But our town has the electrical inspectors, all those inspectors are already there, right?
Because they don't go through the building commission, we appoint them separately.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I was like
That's
But-
what my understanding.
But they're still coordinated through that building commissioner role, I guess is what I'm trying
He
to.
is supervising all of the guys, yes. So, okay.
He coordinates all of those
So
positions.
just because of the building commissioner or the intramural agreement, we are not getting all these services for free. So those services are paid by their own, own inspection. Am I correct?
Right.
That's what my understanding.
But we don't appropriate funds for those.
Yeah, agree, yes. It's been always like that, yes.
Yes.
So,
It's a good system.
yes, for me, I'm on the zoning board. I'm on the I'm on the planning board. So I have received so many complaints regarding the building inspector. So not been available, not been given the proper written, say if he says no, written determination on the issues. The number one complaint I received from many people, not been available.
So,
It's hard to reach. How do I reach? What mode I have to reach? What time I have to reach? These are all the complaints I have.
so I'm not receiving those complaints, so I'm not able to address them.
Okay,
So those concerns should certainly come to my office, and we can address them.
Okay.
However, yeah, I mean, if I'm not aware of them, then I can't.
that's fine. You know, I'm not saying anything about you or anything, right? I'm just giving a,
Okay.
since
And I
this
will-
is in front of in front of us.
Yeah.
We will be voting on this, so I have to say this. So, and also, when I sit on the board, on a zoning board or a planning board, so his comment, determination is single line or 1.5 line. So we needed $48,000 building inspector, part-time building inspector. He was able to attend all the meetings. Of course, he took the time off the next day or compensation time. He was able to come in either Zoom or in person, able to say something during that meeting. So which we badly needed. This never happened. And also, you know, I'm not going to hire a town planner. We don't have the money for the town planner. So you can watch, can I finish, please? If you can go back and watch all the meetings, either zoning board meeting or a planning board meeting, you can watch it. He was here, he was present during the meeting. One of those meetings, let me finish it and I will, one of those meetings, in a public meeting, in a 9 o'clock meeting, he was not there at 9. And I did ask you on that day, so you said, you know, oh, Raj, this is my meeting. He doesn't doubt it. No, this is a building commissioner has to be there. Tom was there on that day. One of those roundtable meetings I'm talking, the very first roundtable meeting. So he didn't show up. I was able to show up. I'm a volunteer member. I was able to show up. He get paid. He should be there by 9. Tom can be there by 9. So this is, you know, and also when people reach out to him, he always says, you know, he was somewhere else. So overall, I'm very unhappy the way we pay so much money, but we are not getting the service for that. That's what I feel like.
So I don't think she was here during, so we used to have a part-time person who was like, I guess 48,000. George, and he was here like 4 days a week. Apparently he attended every meeting. And I think the passion is at $75,000 a year now, we've increased that much, and we had to sell that to town meeting. They asked a lot of these questions, and now we're saying, hey, by the way, it's 175, but we also need a town planner, because the building.
It's not 175,
commission,
it's 75.
no, but I'm saying 75, but we also would need a town planner. So now we're kind of, we've doubled the price, and said we need a new position.
So if I could ask a question that maybe satisfies both.
I don't have a question. I was just trying to
Well,
restate.
no,
my
thank you.
thinking.
Or just, if I could ask a question that, so is there a possibility that we could discuss entering into an agreement outside of this? So because the other two towns have said, no, we're not going to help fund this person showing up in this role, is there a possibility, since these committees meet relatively seldom for short periods of time, that we enter into a different agreement where this person would be paid something outside of that compensation package, but because they have full awareness of what's going on in the town related to these things, they could be brought in for, if it's $100 for them to show up and give their expertise and then comment, and then, and that way we're getting essentially that advice at the board level for a fraction of what a town planner would be. Is that?
certainly have that conversation with the building commissioner. The issue, I think, that I've just, when you say meeting infrequently for a relatively short period of time, the last planning board meeting, only because I was waiting to be addressed, was over 4 hours.
Yeah.
Zoning board meetings typically go between 4 and 5 hours, so it is not a short meeting by
Okay.
any stretch. But
No, fair,
I
fair.
understand that
It's fair.
the question, should the building commissioner be able to make himself available for the first hour of a meeting to be able to address specific concerns that the board or committee may?
Right, and I don't expect him to volunteer his time if he's a paid professional, he or she, whoever it may be. But is it more financially advisable for the town to come up with a separate engagement fee for them that's outside of the agreed upon IMA? We still get their expertise available to the boards, they get compensated for their time, and we don't pay for a town planner.
And I would say, I agree with you, some of those are the way they're run, right? Because you have to run them in, kind of like we run this one. I would only say part of what someone sent me besides, I know Raj has
I think,
spoke up was.
before you say something, I could say this. I have expressed my frustration. When I'm sitting on a zoning board, we do need to make a decision on the same night, some of the cases. So if the building inspector is not there to ask some of the critical questions, I'm not an expert in all those things, building codes and other things. We do need a building inspector to answer at that spot. I don't need another hearing, because the petitioners, they came with the attorneys, they came with the engineers. So we cannot afford to send them back another 1 month. You know it, everything. So I expressed my frustration in the planning board meetings, many of the planning board meetings, and also many of the zoning board meetings.
And I'll just leave the one thing I just wanted to look up, because one thing, I'm just gonna say, because I sent it to me. The labor, our construction, US Bureau of Labor Statistics has a medium of like $72,000 a year for a building commissioner. And the question was, if we're paying $75,000 a year, why wouldn't we just put that out there for $75,000 a year and hire someone full-time?
Can certainly do that.
That was one of the
absolutely.
questions, and I honestly know nothing about this area. That is why I sent you the thing saying, have you asked other people? Because this is one of the things that I've gotten a lot of friction about.
If the board does not want to continue to participate in the intermunicipal agreement, that's certainly a prerogative. We can post our own job description and try our best to bring in a building commissioner, local inspector that is able to meet our needs and attend meetings and get it all done for $70,000.
I do think we advertised when we had a vacancy, and I think we entered into this agreement because we were unable to fill it.
I think we did it at $48,000. We didn't do it at 75.
I think the prior building commissioner made 50-something thousand.
48.
48.
Anyway.
Yeah, I was
that's
gonna
fine,
say,
you
I
know,
think we put
I'm-
that-
I'm talking about, we do need someone, I'm sure, the other board members from zoning, as well as from the planning board, they will agree on it. I don't know what kind of comments you got from the other boards, or I don't know the entirety of the comments, so I don't know about all other things. Yeah, I think, he's been on 3 different towns, so he has been doing too much for, his time is more thing. But, the only thing is, I did ask him, can you come to the meeting? I did mention to the planning board, I didn't mention to the zoning board, can he come to the meeting? He said, no, that's not my job.
So he's not the town of West Boylston's employee. He's an employee of the town of Sterling. The town of Sterling has established that job description. There's input into that job description, and I did bring those concerns
Yep.
to that meeting. When you're
I think, yeah.
when you're
I agree.
one of 3,
I totally agree. Yep, yeah, I got it, yes.
so
Now I know the reason.
if the we are happy to continue
you can table this and
How long do we
can-
have for the agreement? What's the
Well, it
expiration
was-
date?
So we're gonna, it would be a 1-year agreement that you're looking at now. And the reason why it's only 1 year is because the town of Berlin is looking to participate in the agreement. So we only wanted to sign through through June 30th of 26. So that if Berlin was ready to come in, then we could look at it
When does this
longer.
one expire, though? Is this already
Oh,
expired?
this one already expired.
Do you know what date it expired?
June 30th of 2025.
Oh, so it's,
Yeah,
okay,
We
Okay.
just received it though, within the last meeting, so.
okay. Um,
I believe there's language in the existing that is the evergreen clause that but there is a provision that we can extract ourselves.
I would propose that we table this for our next meeting or so table this for the reasons that I would like to see if the building commissioner would be agreeable to entering into an additional agreement that they could come assist, let's say up to 8 hours per month. So that's, 1 business day a month essentially at max, that they could, and that they would be agreeable to showing up to the planning and zoning. Are those your 2 main concerns? That would be a separate agreement that the town would have to come up with. But if they can do that, then it seems like that would solve the main complaint that the committees are lacking in the guidance, and then we can continue on. And again, if that goes up a couple $1,000s a year by comparison, that's still far cheaper than the alternative.
I totally agree that it is less expensive than the alternative. I will acknowledge that our appropriation for FY26 is already made. You made it at your May town meeting. So we would not have an appropriation
Okay,
to
that's
enter
fair.
into an agreement unless we could we could find the money in another location to pay for this. That being said, you're looking at a town meeting in October. You could put the approval of your town meeting warrant off to your October 1st meeting. We would still have time to post. We need 14 days to post. So if you wanted me to take a look at this between now and your next meeting, hold off the approval of the town meeting warrant, and we could determine whether or not an appropriation.
Certainly, I don't want to, in this regard, I do not want to spend any extra taxpayers' money on the building inspector.
Okay.
My view is like this: if you want to take a vote today, my vote is no.
Since there's 4 of us, how many votes?
3.
You still need 3.
Okay. I almost side with Heather. I know we're gonna have another meeting before town meeting. Should we table it and have you reach out just to say, my board is asking some of these questions or have some of these concerns, and they could tell you, you know what, pound sand, right? Like, they could tell you whatever, and then, or just say they're entertaining possibly just hiring the position full-time, and see what they say. If they come back and say, hey, you know what, too bad, then we have at least that information. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know if I'd want to, that could be another $5,000. That could be now an $80,000 building inspector.
So that, we could
That
get a full-time. We were able to run this thing, run the building inspector office by a part-time building inspector.
So,
The
Yeah.
part-time building inspector was able to do the job. So he was able to sit in the town hall. I never seen him sitting in the town hall.
So are you suggesting then that, so say for the same amount that we're currently paying, the
We could get
75?
we could get we could get a building inspector. Definitely, we could get a building inspector for our own town, because he is working for 3 different towns.
No,
So we just don't have the time.
I understand the resource and bandwidth concerns, and,
so the appropriation is in place for FY26. Recruitment and onboarding of a new building inspector, new building commissioner is not something that's going to happen in the next 30, 60 days.
Sure.
Perhaps
I certainly hear your frustration, I certainly understand the concerns. Perhaps we sign the IMA, which is now basically a 9-month agreement, gets us, maintain services status quo through June 30th. And that gives us time to look at our own job description and begin the process of looking at extracting ourselves from the IMA and looking at
We
hiring.
do have a job descriptions for a building inspector. We don't have to go make another personal meeting, personal board. We do have a job description. I know this, how this job municipal agreement was happened. I know it very well.
So we've already spent some of the appropriation, so we don't have $75,000.
We could go ahead and hire a part-time guys too.
Okay.
So why don't we do this? Because Raj, you are passionate about this. There were some options. Someone can make a motion to approve, they can make a motion not to approve, they can make or say, let's table it to the next one. I mean, we have a lot going on in town. I do hear your feedback. I would just say, these are options that we have in front of us. David, how do you feel?
I would vote to, given under the situation that you're saying that essentially the funds are basically spoken for so that we would not have the ability to enter into an agreement for additional services for fiscal year 26 until next June. I would vote that we agree to the current IMA until next June. And that gives us time to assess, do we want to post the position, et cetera, in that time.
All right, do I have a second to the motion to approve the contract for another 9 months?
May I ask a point of clarification?
Sure.
So our options are to approve it for the next 9 months, table it and not do anything at this moment, come back to them. Does that mean that we don't currently have an agreement, or that the understanding is that the agreement rolls forward?
There's an evergreen clause, so the agreement,
Already expired, right?
no, the evergreen means that it continues without, services would continue in their current form pending the new agreement.
So the current agreement was, agreement period ended sometime in June.
June
Right.
30th.
June 30th. It's already ended.
So,
But-
so the point is, if we don't take any action, the agreement
The
stays in
agreement will
effect.
continue.
Unless and until what?
So we would have to notify them that we are removing ourselves from the agreement. There's a provision in the IMA for how to extract ourselves from it.
Does that also mean that they could give us notice that they don't want us to be in the same box with them anymore?
Correct.
But the
All right,
motion,
so-
Jay, in front of you, there's a motion.
No, I understand that. I'm just seeking
Okay.
clarification to know what it is that, the implications thereof.
All right, so there's a motion. Do I have a second? If there is not a second, the motion will fail.
A second.
Second.
I'm just
Further
gonna wait and see
discussion.
what to do on this.
So for the, for the best interest of the town, we are paying double the amount of salary for the building inspector through this IMA. And we are not getting the service. For that reason, I'm voting no.
Jay?
Yeah.
Raj?
My vote is no.
David?
My vote is yes.
My vote is yes. Going to the next topic. We will approach this in 9 months, since it was a very passionate discussion. Facilities agreement. So this is also a 3-year renewal with the town of Sterling for a facilities management services. I would say, Heather, do you have anything on this one? I know I haven't seen Chuck in a while, but he seems lovely.
So I have the pleasure of seeing Chuck pretty regularly. I think he's great. He's very earnest in his dedication to keeping things shipshape. You know, I don't have any questions or concerns about his productivity or his availability. I know he spends an awful lot of time right now at the senior center. Kim keeps him on a pretty short leash, but he's able to get to the other buildings as she allows.
So what he does in the senior center, that's a brand new facility. Can I ask?
You know, I can't even make a joke. So, I don't know. There's a number of, I think it's because it's a new building for Kim, for the director. And I think that he has been very helpful in helping her figure out the systems, the air conditioning and the ventilation and, you know, setting up the stage. I know the Council on Aging has had a lot of different programming, and he has been over there trying to help her coordinate how the different rooms need to be set up for that. I shouldn't have mentioned it, sorry.
No, it's fine. I only had one for him, and I had sent that to you. When we originally had hired him, it was right after we had that ADA, assessment or something like, I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he sent me his work detail of the jobs on that list that he's completed. It was later in the afternoon. I have not reviewed it, so I didn't want to bring it forward tonight, but we'll have it on a future agenda.
And that was just one we had him come after, because we had a lot of things that they're bigger, like replacing stairs and stuff that he couldn't do, but there was a lot of things like moving a pitcher 3 inches down, moving, you know, so he had he made this extensive list of
Said
like.
that he has replaced more toilet paper holders in his career here than he can count. So,
But it was checking off that, you know, out of 150 things, he could do 75. And we just haven't had a report out, and I do get a lot of, we're not doing anything for ADA, and this was one of those big roles where he said, okay, here's a list.
Yep.
Please do as much as you can, and then what you can't, we'll fund. So it would be awesome if we could have an
yeah,
update.
absolutely.
Okay.
Like I said, he did send it over this afternoon, but I wanted to be able to read it so that I understood.
Just to kind of like
Before I presented
showcase.
it. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Are there any questions on this? My voice is going, God. No? All right, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
No further questions, Jay?
No questions.
Are you a yes or no?
Yes.
Raj?
Yes.
I'm a yes.
Yes.
All right, we're really making some progress. All right, so policies for review, F-12 overlay policy. I have one question before we go through these, because we had a passionate human here a few meetings ago, on, these are gonna go to these went to the bylaw committee for review, because they were really concerned, this might not be the one, they were concerned about the personnel policies and how they connected to changing the bylaw, because we have a bylaw that we're take down, and then we're making personnel policies. Is this the one, like the K through 12 for that?
So the only personnel one on here would be the policy remote work.
Okay, so this isn't that, so we're not gonna, I don't have
This
to
is
worry
a
about that. Yeah, all right, so I'm not gonna have to worry about someone asking
Yeah.
for that.
And I just will, if, depending upon how you take these and what order you take them, or if you make one motion or multiple motion, I will just say that the L29, the political signage, that was presented as L29 because it was presented before you approved
another L29 for, oh my goodness.
Emergency.
Yes, the
Call out.
emergency call out for the
Okay.
inspector. So I maintained the label of L29 so that if anybody opened and looked at the policy, they would not be
See.
confused. But if you could, when you vote it, you're going to amend that policy to be L30. That's way more complicated than it needs to be.
I'm following you. All right, so, I'm gonna upset everybody when we get to that one anyway, so, J-1, policy on computer and software use. I'll go one at a time, just in case. Does anyone have any questions about that? Did you get a chance to read it? Good with what was there? If you are, I'll take a motion. J1.
I'll make a
Sorry.
motion to accept.
F12 is on the first.
There
I'm
are,
kidding. I'm
There are
looking at F12, guys. Sorry, let me try this again.
I think there are some of them you made it, there are some of them are public hearing, right? The policies? I saw the public hearing notice. Is that a public
Sorry,
hearing?
you're right, a public hearing notice
So
was sent
we
out.
have to open the public hearing and we have to close the public hearing.
Well, it's a public notice,
No,
right?
it's a public notice.
It was
It's
public
a public
notice?
notice?
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
sorry.
That's all right, you had me looking, digging for it.
No.
All right. F-12 overlay policy. Do we have any questions about this? Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Make a motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
I'll second that. So
I don't know,
whoever-
Fay, just pick one of
Whoever
them.
you want to credit
And-
with making the motion,
Any further discussion? Hearing none. Jay?
yes.
Raj?
Yes,
I'm a yes. David?
Yes.
Okay, now back to J1, policy for computer and software use. Do I have any, are there any open questions, concerns?
I have a question towards town administrator. There were a couple of items there that I had noted that were really just more of a recommendation, policy decision to have the town administrator ask our IT firm to enforce certain policies, like the screen lock, for example. And then there was
He
another
didn't have
one.
any concerns with it. He thought
Okay.
they were all, he thought that many of them we were probably already doing.
Okay.
But he was gonna go through them and make sure that we did.
Okay, and then the other one, I believe that also recommended via an IT policy of sorts for enforcement was the signature slash disclaimer. That one in particular, I felt like was the lack of having that one automatically apply just adds extra burden to all town employees and those sitting on elected boards to make sure that they're applying those. So if you, also you heard no negative feedback or no concerns from, okay,
No, and matter of fact, it's not on mine, but it is now.
great.
Thank you.
And I'm thinking, from what I'm seeing, those highlights are in the green.
Yes.
I did like that we had BlackBerry in there. That was actually kind of funny when I saw it, but, all right, any further discussion on this one? Hearing none, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Jay, can you,
second.
you have to second. Raj is no longer seconding at meetings.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I'll second.
Thank you. Any further discussion on this topic? Hearing none. Jay?
Yes.
Raj?
yes.
I'm a yes. David?
Yep.
Okay. Very exciting. J3, this is using AI. Jay, this was your one that you created. This is J3. Is there any further discussion on this one? Any concern, Heather, from what you read?
No, I think it's a good policy.
All right. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve, please.
Do I have a second?
Second.
David. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Jay?
Yes.
Yes for me?
I'm a yes. David?
Yes.
All right. K-12, policy on remote work. This was also one, Jay, you have been asking for and asked for it on the agenda. Do you have any further discussion on this one?
I don't. I think the policy speaks for itself.
I did put this out to department heads at the department head meeting The only feedback that I received was that they did not like the Monday, Friday being called out. They figured that if they were tacking on to a Monday or a Friday and wanted to have that be a remote work day, that it wouldn't be any different from a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, because they would still be working remotely regardless of whether or not it was a Monday or Friday. So I'm not suggesting that it needs to be added, I'm just providing the feedback that they were confused as to how a remote work Monday would differ from a remote work Tuesday, and that was the only
Right.
feedback.
Sure, my intention there wasn't to, categorize remote work differently. It was to provide, fairness for folks that might actually be working on site, that they might have the opportunity to take Fridays off, because this is at essence, it's about providing service to the town. And if folks are working remotely on Friday, that means that there are fewer opportunities for folks that are working on site to take vacation days or take time off and provide services to the town, and have some bodies on site, particularly in summer or.
That's reasonable. And I think the only other comment that I had, if you don't mind, is whether or not, given the special act, whether there would be a consideration to have the decision of whether or not a position qualified be a joint decision between the select board and the town administrator.
Sorry, it's getting late, my
okay.
brain's
No.
fuzzy, so.
As it states now, the eligibility, only positions approved by the select board with tasks that can be effectively performed away from the work site without impacting operations may be considered. And I guess with the special act giving much of the personnel responsibility to the town administrator, just looking at that as maybe something in coordination with the town administrator. I'm gonna have the town administrator's position, whether it's me or somebody else, would probably be able to provide more input into that, whether that job description meets a remote work standard. I guess I just offer that.
I think that the purpose behind that language was that that's designed to eliminate the possibility that somebody's just going to write their own job description without it having gotten through the select board standard process to approve the job description.
So,
But your job descriptions are.
well, we could write this simply, so we have minimal jobs here. So the reality is if this job could be a remote work job, then we should be looking at offshore, right? Because we want to bring down costs. I don't need the person to be in the United States if they don't have to interact with other people. That's how when we did fully remote, we absolutely looked at sizes, because then I don't need a building. I might be able to cut, like we cut salaries by 62% overall, because you could then get larger coverage for more hours, because you weren't also just doing 9 to 5. But that would be me. That's
but
my thought differently.
personnel approves job descriptions,
Yeah,
right?
not select board.
No, yeah, I would say personnel does, but they don't, I don't know if they ever come to us actually, unless they're creation of new.
Correct.
Yeah,
Maybe they
creation.
Come to you then.
But see, that's
The
the point.
approval of the position would, but not the job description necessarily.
Yeah.
Well, that was the problem we got into. There were we approved positions without job descriptions that go against the actual special act. Because the special act says you can't have that job description here.
We have remedied that.
Sorry, Jay, I didn't mean to cut you off,
No,
but typically if they're bringing the position forward, we would never approve a position without a job description. Because I could say, I am hiring a
Right.
role for $80,000 and this is a title. What do they do here? Whatever I decide to have them do that day. Like so the select board approves a role, but if the role doesn't, typically they have job descriptions. So I would say we probably wouldn't be faced with that in the future. I think it was just a past situation, but personally what I think. I don't.
So the point there is, I'm not interested in retrofitting jobs to fit the policy. So I'd like the select board to have some review of job descriptions before the policy is applied.
All right, I will. There can be a motion to approve, not approve, pass over, whatever you guys want to do with this one. I am falling apart on you though, so I'll just throw that out there.
Jay, will you make a motion?
I'm sorry.
So in front of us, we have either, if there is no motion, it will not move forward. If there is a motion, it will, or we can pass over. I mean,
I'll make a motion to approve.
do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have further discussion? Hearing none. Jay?
Yes.
Raj?
Yes for me.
I'm a yes.
Yep.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. The next one is L29. This one we got a lot of, we've been going back and forth with this one. And it's for political signage, flag displays on properties within the town. Now, since putting this together, I've actually learned a few things that I didn't actually know I didn't know before. So someone had reached out to me when they saw this on the agenda and said, does this count for the school? And I was like, no, doesn't, because we can't inflict policy on the school building. Someone says, does it count for any piece of the building? That means even if you can't get to it, being locked or secured areas. My assumption for some of these in reading them is that they can't be in any of those locations, but this would completely take the school's buildings out of that equation, and the school committee would have to actually vote to adopt this same policy within their building. I thought this was gonna go over with a winning, like everyone was gonna be really happy with this, and I actually got the reverse. There were a lot of questions on, well, how about during Pride Month that you're telling me we can't have flags up? Yes, that is exactly what this policy is saying. There are several types of flags. I've learned apparently several people have sent me different kinds of flags. This would prohibit any flag but the United States flag, or I guess there's like a POW flag. Anything outside of that would not be allowed, is how I read this policy, right?
The state flag? the
Oh, that's it,
PO
state flag
Yeah.
and US flag. I want to make sure all of you understand that before voting on this. And also, my question is, does it make sense to hold this due to certain recent things and wait until those things are settled before adopting this? I just don't want to see this used against us because we're voting on it now, September 17th, 2025, and trying to backdate that for anything that's currently happening.
Not only that, my thing is, I was thinking of a bylaw, but why not a bylaw rather than a policy? Because it says we can simply adopt a policy. So if it goes to the town, what will happen as a bylaw? Bylaw may be much more powerful than just a policy. Is that right, or how that functions?
Well, because it needs a town meeting vote
Yes.
to actually change it.
And with a bylaw, you have more enforcement.
Power.
Well, you have to identify who the enforcing agent is
Mm-hmm.
in a bylaw.
So part of me thought this completely made sense. And then
So, if
part
you
of
want
me
to-
also said, I think we need a public hearing about this because I got a lot of feedback about how people did not like this. They do not want it. And they only wanted several of them said, I only care about one type of flag. And that's the only flag we don't want to allow in town. So I am wondering, I personally think if we were to do the policy, this would be one where I would want to have a public hearing about it, because I got surprisingly such negative feedback about bringing it in. That, or maybe table it to say, do we maybe ask bylaw committee, does this make sense for them? I just think this is one, I was kind of really surprised about the feedback I got pretty quick.
Instead of this board deciding this, I would leave it to the town. If at all, if I have a choice.
So we would need, I don't know if we need a motion to pass over, Heather, we could just pass over. Jay, are you okay with passing over this one?
You know what? I mean, this is an issue of speech, and therefore, I think it's really important that we have a conversation, we all understand what it pertains to and what it means. So I'm totally fine with putting it on hold as a demonstration that this isn't a very simple issue at hand. It's not easily resolved.
I'll go next. I agree with that. In writing it, it seemed very standard until I now see the other side where people are very, very passionate about us listing that they can have their flag, but they don't want the other flag. So I do feel like we need to have some type of public input on this, more than just a bunch of Facebook messages or emails or text messages, personally. David, how do you feel about this one?
So, trying to understand the different mechanisms here moving forward before I express an opinion on this. So is one suggestion that we have a hearing, public hearing on this before we move forward, that we can, so while we could set the policy ourselves at the select board level, you would like to open it up to a town hearing level as it is currently written, and to have that hearing prior to us voting, is that correct?
That's what I'm feeling, is if we were gonna adopt this policy at a select board level, we do need to write in how we plan on enforcing it and what the repercussions are for having it, which I didn't take into account in this one, because, I mean, unless we're gonna have a self-reporting mechanism for employees to report on each other, I don't have a way of like, it's just one of our policies, so we could have a public hearing to get input, and take that input and we could adopt a policy. Or we could recommend a bylaw to the bylaw committee, which is more of a, now it's at the town meeting room floor and you really get everybody's opinion.
It's
I am just worried about limiting some of these groups that were very passionate about, how could you do this? Why aren't you considering us? This is just another smack in our face kind of thing. And I was like, well, it's actually like Autism Month, I guess there is a flag for that. That would not be allowed up.
In the way this is currently written.
Well, like,
So,
it's kind of hard.
it is, and I certainly welcome the public hearing process. However, there are valuable reasons as to why communities often adopt a very restrictive flag policy. And that is because, for example, you just named several,
Yep.
right? And so it could get to a point where you wouldn't be able to see out the windows
Yep.
of the town hall for the number of different flags, because once you allow one, you then have to make sure that you're giving equal space to others.
Yep.
So we addressed this in my last community. We used the KP policy. KP provided two policies. One was extremely restrictive and one was just very restrictive. But for those reasons, because once you state that
You allow something.
autism, which is a perfectly, benign, then you are also saying that another flag that may not be perceived as so benign, and it
does open the door. And again, you could have 50 flags from your town hall, and you would not have the ability to.
To prevent it. I think of the lawsuit in Boston, right? Because they put one flag up as a joke and then wound up in a $1 million lawsuit. I personally would say, David, like one of them I got was there might be a flag up in a room at the school, and that person has maybe a pride flag up but refuses to put a flag of the United States because that person doesn't agree with it. And a parent is very concerned, like, well, that shouldn't be there if this can't be here. I don't want to start policing that. And whatever we would do, we would recommend to, I'd say, the school to adopt as well, which would then, I imagine, have the same, I mean, this quickly spiraled. I didn't even know we had so many flags. I didn't even know they created so many different flags. And it became a, well, you're being racist because of this, and I was just like, whoa, I thought we were gonna do something that you guys wanted to have happen.
But I think to the point that if you are limiting it to the United States flag and the state flag, then you are stating very clearly that you are not saying no to other flags, you're just saying yes to the two flags that in a town hall setting might be the only flags that are appropriate in a municipal building setting. So I think that's where the KP policy comes into play. And again, you know, that a public hearing to have that conversation is probably appropriate. But I think ultimately you want to err on the side of more restrictive simply because of the.
And I want to leave less for opinion, because the moment you put a policy out, everybody can take that and say, well, I believe it says this. One of the things that they called out was B2, which was flags associated with political or activist movements. And many people find some of these flags as activist movements. And they're like, so do you tell me what activist movements are? And please put pictures of the flags that you believe are activist movements. And I was like, okay, now I was like Googling it, and I'm like, I actually don't know everything.
So perhaps this policy just says too much.
I'm wondering if we did, like, someone said, well, if it's my personal computer, how could you tell me to change my screensaver? Well, you're bringing your personal computer to town hall, don't use that. So they're like, you don't have right to say what we can do on our personal things. So I was like, I honestly
That's right.
personally would just say it seemed pretty straightforward until I got the input. That made me think,
So
I don't want to limit it either.
can I ask one more questions before I give it to Jay? So this is for the town administrator. The policy, select board makes the policies. And then this policy is on the books. So this is enforceable only by this town at certain level. Whereas bylaw is approved by the entire town, 3/4 of the town or the town meeting members. It's much more powerful. And my question for you is, keeping some of the incidents happened in the town, when it goes to the court, which one will be much more powerful than bylaw or policy? Policy is very convenient. We can make the policy. All we need is 3 members to say yes. So on the same 3 members next meeting, I can change the policy, right? Bylaw, we cannot change that way. The town meeting has to say yes. 3/4 of the town meeting. So, am I correct? Or am I
No,
something wrong?
Generally speaking, a bylaw has more teeth to it than a town policy would, correct. However, to predict what a court might determine is,
Yeah, agree, totally agree. So again, some of the policies like an AA policy or some of the policies are fine. Changing the name of the selectmen to select board, things are fine with as a policy. But this this, we had gone through so much of controversy. So that's why I'm kind of thinking about the policy and the bylaw, which is better for this town.
I wonder if it could be twofold. Someone else brought to me like personal expression. Apparently during this, someone wore a shirt that said Trump on it and was thrown out of our senior center for wearing it. And people were very upset. So this has, now it says, so now you have a dress code and there's violations at a department head level if you wear something or have a bumper sticker that says something. If you're not paying for it, why are you task? I really didn't think of these things, so I do think, one, if we were gonna accept this here, I would probably be more comfortable with a public hearing. Two, because it has some of the personal items or apparel, and it also talks about the town administrator being the one that would assess violations at a department level. I'm wondering if this, maybe the personnel board, I don't know, even send it to the employees, because if the employees, 75% of them say I don't agree with this is my freedom of speech, and the select board does it, now on top of it, I'm gonna have a bunch of employees upset, no way of enforcing it, and, I mean, I had at least 20 people reach out to me over this, and I thought they would be on the positive, but they cited some pretty negative stuff, so I feel like I made it laser focused on one thing and didn't think of all the other stuff.
I just downloaded the two policies from KP. I'll share those with the board and we can go from there.
Okay, that's just personally, David, where I'm at, is I feel like I might have went too far with this, thinking it was like, it covered all the things I heard in every one of those meetings for ever, and still here now.
The point here is it's not a simple issue. It's not as simple as, we don't like this flag. You can't ban one flag and have a bunch of others. So we have to have that conversation. I mean, the policy as written is what folks were kind of clamoring for until you start thinking about what it all means. So I'm totally in favor of putting it aside, at least for the time being.
I'm gonna
Have a public hearing.
I'm gonna ask a question that's very open-ended and is probably a can of worms, but here we go anyway. At town meeting, could we present something that says, here are the current lists of approved flags, where we purposely say we'll mark off the top, say, 4 political parties in the country, and then if people want to say yes to autism awareness or yes to this and that, then at the town level, they can vote yes by yes by yes for each one that we greenlight for that year or until the next town meeting. And then that is by 3/4 of the vote of the town, what we say is game for the next year, essentially.
My only worry is actually having a lawsuit that it was discrimination against another, because you open up the door. If you say yes to one, and someone puts up, I don't even know, like a Catholic flag or something, and it votes no, you still put one up. Like Boston dealt with this exact thing. They would easily file a discrimination claim, and they would say, well, you filled the room with bigots, as I was called 18 times. You know what I mean? Like in the last 12 months, that's my only thing, is like, I didn't look at it that way, so I think we should look at the KP law. I also didn't think, so it says violations of the policy may result in the removal of unauthorized material or disciplinary action consistent with town's personnel policies. So I went and looked, we don't have any. And then second, someone says, so will the town administrator show up and take my shirt off? And I was like,
Oh my goodness.
I do, but you know what I mean? Like, it was like one of those things, that was a real thing that got sent to me, and I was like, no, she will not. Like,
No, she will not.
so, but I
Fact of the
I
matter
didn't
is-
look at that sentence that way. I didn't think that was like like, they're like, what if I wear a Budweiser shirt? Will she be offended? Will someone else be offended? And I was like, forget it. I don't even know why I wrote this thing.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew,
This topic is politically divided. We know that how much drama happened in this town. So if it is me, I would be much more comfortable. Leave it to the town, make a bylaw, leave it to the town. So this policy, yes, we can make the policy, yes, we can approve the policy. How many people are, as you said in other meetings, how many people will show up? 10 people? Some may be shouting at us, some may not be shouting at us. But can we decide based on the 10 people? I would be much more comfortable putting it on the spillover room, finding it out. As a
There
bylaw.
is a reason that we don't have a policy currently, and this is the reason. So, I mean, there's a really good reason that we don't have the policy because it's really hard to govern. You can't put up the flag of the Vatican and not expect the Church of Satan to want to put their flag up.
No, I totally agree. All this, the flag policy, I totally agree. But my thing is, is this board want to go take it as a policy or a bylaw? For me, for the best interests of the town, again, the bylaw is the thing. Let them make the decision, instead of 5 of us making a decision, since it is a politically divided. It's very politically divided.
Well, I actually think it's not even politically divided on the two that I thought. It was
Yeah.
absolutely none of those.
Yeah,
It was
I know.
completely different side of the house that I wasn't expecting to upset. So, I mean, we could talk about it all night. I would say we should put it to a vote, if you want. I just personally will say, I think I had good intentions and we went around and looked at a lot of things, but this was just to remedy all the pain I felt for 12 months because we didn't have a flag policy.
I would like to table the conversation for another time.
Raj,
I'm fine with that.
David,
Yep.
I'm a yes. It will come back up. I know people are gonna send me a bunch of hate mail over this. We will fix this. I just don't, I think we just need to look at this a little bit better.
The town admin can provide the 2 pieces from KP, is that correct? Okay.
So what do the other towns has it? Is it a bylaw or a policy?
Not many have it from what I saw.
Not many have it.
I think you'll find that it's more often a policy.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the way to go for West Boylston. So let's, again, I know that KP offers, because we went through this in my last community. It was a very difficult conversation. They reviewed both bylaws, and I'm not being sarcastic when I say one was restrictive and one was very restrictive, because it does open itself up to these conversations. So,
And I just think I need, when we look at, well, if you could send those to us, and then I would like to start with, I might have heard from one employee, so I think we also need to maybe bring that to a department head meeting, bring it to the personnel, I just wanna make sure we cover our basis, because even though we're trying to do the right thing, sometimes
also-
as human beings, we make mistakes.
And also we can align it with our state law.
Yeah.
State law.
I also wouldn't want, I think you said it would only allow for the US flag and the state flag. I'm certain we have veterans serving in their communities. I'm sure they get to, would like to display their
Yeah.
service, and I certainly would not want to take that option away from them.
One did ask me why I didn't include the POW flag, and I was like, I'll add it to the list of flags so, let's table it, and move to the next item, which is the town meeting warrant. There's a motion to approve the town meeting warrant, October 20th, semi-annual town meeting warrant as written, as edited,
or
as edited.
Because you have the opportunity to add or remove articles. And in light of other conversations that we've had this evening, if the board is more comfortable putting this on your October 1st meeting, we do have we do have that opportunity.
I would love to approve it personally, because then it puts it
Yep.
out there even, and you get the reaction. If we have to make a change, we can always make a change.
Perfect.
So my thought is, if we approve it, at least now, it helps us, the public starts to nip out if you put it out on a page, this is approved but could change closer to the meeting or something.
So this warrant has been through town council's review. It's been through MSB, the Massachusetts School Building Authority's review. It has been through bond council review. It has been through lots of opportunities for review.
That's a lot of, do we normally have that many, or is this just new?
She was just making sure that we could amend the warrant if you approve it tonight. Yes, because we would bring it back for an amendment, basically to add
Do we have to do a certain amount of days?
14 days.
14 days? All right.
Do
And
you
if
want me to
we-
run through the articles quickly, or are you good?
I read through them. It's 8:20 and I'm,
Yeah, no,
Um,
the
Hard on you.
majority of them are boilerplate.
Yeah.
There is the school feasibility, and then there is the solid
Do
waste.
do we know the dollar amount?
For the,
Or are we still figuring out the dollar amount for the Article 10?
for the what?
Article
Article
10, the
10, the
feasibility
school one.
study.
$2 million.
bid. Okay.
That's from the school building committee. They've been meeting, and that is the number that they had settled on, I think, 2 meetings ago.
I don't want to talk about this here. Let them do
No,
that. I don't want
understood.
anything to do with that. So,
And one other question before I say this. I heard there was one citizen's petition.
There is not. They did not
They
submit.
withdraw it?
I'm
There
sorry?
is none?
They didn't submit.
Okay, thank you.
Then, just clarification question, so then, you're saying that, for example, if we didn't wanna change any of the, any substantive material in the article, but just maybe rearranging the order that the articles are listed, that we can still do after the fact, correct? Or you're saying? or
No,
just
I
give us-
think at this point, if you have
the-
an article that you want to take in a different order, it would be better, because I'm going to start rolling out material based on article numbers. So if you want to switch the order, I'd love to do that now.
Isn't it moderator can switch any article? Moderator can switch any article.
is this,
He can take an order out of order.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I'm saying.
so,
But I guess as far as whether or not an article that is labeled Article 8 today, if at your next meeting you wanted to make it Article 10, that would be problematic.
No,
Okay.
can the moderator,
But at the town meeting,
Yes, Raj.
the moderator can take Article
no,
10
Article 10 and
for Article 8.
Article 1, yes.
so, real quick on this, these numbers did change from our last meeting packet that we got with just the
Yes,
names?
yes, because you would specifically requested the placement of the solid waste coming after the tax reduction.
But it looks like others moved as well, because there's more than that
Yes.
that moved. So why did we move the others? Because I like the placement there as we had it, so that's what we looked at, and we agreed that we're gonna move one.
So I guess I didn't look at that list of articles, because it was more of a itemization of topics. I'm happy to make any changes. I just didn't look at that as a hard and fast, with the exception of the one article that you called out where you wanted it. So as I was
why we-
writing the articles, I put them in the order in which they came up for me. Happy to make any changes.
Hold on, I need to get back to the packet, sorry. So I would like to go back to the original placement. So we moved one article, and that article I requested to move was the solid waste to after we said, it was after the,
Article, so that became Article 9 to follow Article 8, which was the authorization of funds to reduce the tax rate.
yep, so, but then we're putting Article 10 underneath it, which immediately, I thought that was an earlier article. They weren't like together. So anyone that was there, so if I look
So
at least one.
Articles 1 through 8 are boilerplate, so those have always been on your October warrant in that order. I can certainly,
Because we moved up, one of them had the feasibility up earlier, so that way those parents, because one of the things was the parents that are coming and the babysitting that was being offered.
Yep.
Um,
That was the
to
concern,
kind of like get them,
because we pretty much ate that whole window last time by just getting people registered through the door. So that was part of the concern for
so my thought was,
graphic.
And we learned a lesson with the chicken thing too. We had it later on. When, if I could have redone that, I would have probably done that as Article 2, if I had known we were gonna get passion, because people were upset it took that long, because they all were yelling out, "I'm here for this," and that, the last meeting, everybody was yelling out for the schools too, so I'm like,
I've got the list that we had at the last town meeting in front of me. The article for the feasibility study did follow solid waste on that list, so that has not changed from your
Okay.
last meeting. However, I'm hearing what you're saying, and if you want to move it up, we can, but I just want to also point out that Articles 1 through 8 are boilerplate,
So
and
those will be like a few seconds articles.
yeah.
So if they cannot,
so really, you're not going to get into any discussion until Article 9. And we can certainly swap Article 9 and Article 10, if you want to swap those two.
I would like to move Article 10 to the beginning, so I don't have to, because we can have a motion from the floor, and that's what happened. Someone came up and did a motion from the floor, and someone yelled second, and then one was moved. Was it you?
The guilty parties here.
Oh, I was gonna say, and I actually didn't know you could do that from the floor, because I thought only the moderator could do it.
And we're sure that once everybody votes on that we'll have a quorum.
That's my thought, is can we just, they come, if people are coming just for that, they're doing that in a certain period of time, and then they are,
You have to maintain your quorum for the rest of the meeting, or the meeting will end right there.
So we were able to maintain the quorum last time, even once the bulk of the,
because people are gonna be there also for the trash enterprise account. I just don't know if they're the same
People.
people. This is my,
Yeah. So
I'm open to
do
anything,
you want
I
Article,
just,
do you want Article 9 and 10 to become Article 1 and 2?
well, I'm thinking we could do that. I mean, I just personally want
it's a
to.
customary to put the Article 1 as the chairman's article.
Okay, so Article 2 and 3.
Customary 1 is always there.
Yeah.
If the people are not going to wait for one article, that makes me,
and yeah, I would propose 9 and 10.
it's very sad.
Become 2 and 3?
Yes, with 10 going to the 2 spot and 9, the trash, going to the 3 spot.
Would any of these other articles be impacted if we lose a quorum? Like, I'm thinking these prior fiscal year bills that need to put out on these, the vendors
Yeah.
won't get paid.
So that prior fiscal year is a 9/10.
Okay, so
So
why don't
can
you
we-
make that one 2?
Okay.
And then
And then-
school 3 and trash 4. That would be my suggestion.
Good point, Faye.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
the select board could reduce the quorum too.
Oh,
Right? You could
she's-
vote to reduce the quorum as well.
I thought
But
that
that's
was
a bylaw.
I thought that was in our bylaw.
Yeah, it's a bylaw,
I believe so.
because I tried it a bunch of times.
Okay, so Article 1, Article 2 remain in place. We move Article 9 to Article 3.
I was suggesting 10 to
Oh,
3.
to
I'm
Article
sorry,
3.
Article 10 to Article 3.
Yes,
Article 9 becomes Article 4,
yep. And the
then
prior
we-
3 and 4 just shift down.
and then we
as
pick
they-
up from there.
Yes, please.
Are there any other concerns about where the bylaws are placed? Generally, those drop to the bottom of the list anyway because nobody likes them.
Second is, what was the name of the second one? Sorry, I'm just,
Prior fiscal year bills.
prior fiscal year bills. Okay, and before this does get posted, can you just send it out to the board in the order that it's gonna be before
course.
anything gets publicized?
Of course.
All right, that will help, I think, some complaining, and then help maybe telling people you need to be here at this time instead of a bunch of people screaming
Yep.
at me.
You had also sent out a message to the board members with assigning,
I assigned, yes, so, I sent out some pre-assignments to help us maybe go through this faster. I say we table that to the next meeting, and after this is sent to me, I'll redo the assignments. Okay, so do I have a motion to approve with the changes to the numbers that were listed?
so moved.
Do I have a second? Jay, you got it. Oh, that all right, doesn't pass, and we don't have a meeting. Yes?
Second, yep.
Okay. David?
Yep.
I'm a yes. Raj?
Yes.
Jay?
Yep.
Okay, it's great. So in the packet, and this time it's lovely, there's a town administrator evaluation instrument. There were some edits to modernize it. We've had it a couple times. It's in the packet. Does anyone have any questions about it? Hearing no questions, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Jay?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Raj?
Yes.
Jay?
Yep.
I'm yes. David?
Yes.
Okay, next one is fire feasibility study. There is no motion.
So, may I?
Yeah, go for it. Sorry, I was reading and then I.
No, that's okay.
didn't look
So,
up.
you issued a RFP for a fire DPW facility feasibility study. The money was appropriated, it's an earmark. Tom is waiting this out. He is my support, he's my muscle. Mark was going to be on, but he did have, Mark Sadowski, but he had a funeral, sorry.
I'm sorry if you told me I had to move this one up for you. I didn't realize that. I thought you were just
That's
here.
okay. So the RFP was issued.
Yep.
You've received the submittals. Going back to your previous minutes, on 3/19, there was, the select board created a committee to review those proposals. The committee was to be made up of the fire chief, DPW director, a select board member, a finance committee member, and 2 residents to participate.
Yep.
And then the 4/2 meeting, the interim town administrator moved the appointment of Dave Femia and Dean Kochanowski to be the 2 people at large.
Okay,
In order for this to move forward, I'd like the select board to make
Designate
sure-
one of us?
To designate one of you, but also two, I just need the money is there for the feasibility study, and I know that there's been some concerns, and I know that what the longer-term viability of a building project looks like. I know we're talking about a school building project. I just want to make sure that it's clear that this is a committee that is going to open and select a company that would do this feasibility study. That feasibility study has already been, the money is already there. I just want to make sure that we're clear where this project is sort of moving to and where it might need to be brought back to the board for further action. So in that spirit, if you would select one of you to sit on that review committee, that would be fantastic.
So this is a year mark, right?
Correct.
So what happens if we don't use it?
We
Go
lose
back.
that money.
We lose that money.
Yeah. The feasibility study does not lock us into anything. What it does is it establishes,
How much is that, 150,000?
150,000.
So if you use it, if you do the study, and it comes up with a certain number of things, certain number of dollar amount, that study is valid for a couple of years, right? Few years.
Absolutely.
After that, it's
no.
junk.
There is absolutely no harm in moving forward. I just want to make sure that we're being very transparent about it, so
Yeah,
that.
but we are wasting $150,000 too, If you don't have a plan on building a DPW building and the fire station, what do you want to waste $150,000?
I don't.
so
Exactly.
I had originally brought this up because we had so much on our plate. There was like this school thing lingering. We had no real formation. We had an override lingering. And honestly, at that time, personally, and there was all these trash discussions, personally, I was like, I don't think the town people can take multiple, if we did that, say, right now, you would have had 3 information sessions. We would have been blasting folks with 3 different trash, school, DPW. I do think we should move forward with it, because if anything, this is either gonna pass or not pass, and this will predict what happens next year, because if it doesn't pass, step 2 does not happen for the school. So then, why would we burden, why would we not use the information? So I think we should do it. It's not taxpayer our taxpayer dollars, and if we don't use it, we lose it. I would say on this though, unless David, you raise your hand, you want to be on another board or committee, okay? Jay's, there's us, I mean, I can't also volunteer Vanessa because she's not here, which would have been funny. Raj, I think this
No,
might
I don't
be,
want to be on that, no.
Can the board vote?
No, I think, I said, openly said.
but you're on
it's
building and
a-
planning.
Yeah, but, I said that, it's a PBR, if we have a plan of building or, let's wait for some more time. Let's see the October town meeting, then I may be able to see this, yes, I can move forward. So, this town, we do need it, so if this goes as a school, and can we afford to build another,
So you're saying waste the money and not, I
we
mean,
are
you
not
don't think you're
wasting
the
money, we
right
are sending
person?
it back and we can get it back,
I don't know about that.
yeah,
So, the proposals are sitting here,
I know,
right?
I know.
So then alternatively, the vote would need to, and I'll bring this back as a topic for the agenda because it does have to be a very formal vote. But I would bring this back as a vote to cancel the bid. So because we would have to formally reject the bid.
I will be on this committee, though I would say, Raj, you're on the lesser of the committee assignments.
Yeah, I'm not interested in this committee, sorry.
Okay.
So
So
You-
would
you
would
heard my
you,
views and
Jay,
then,
then, Jay, do you want a motion? We'll do two separate. One is the motion to appoint me as the
I
only
think-
willing to
all
participate to
members
be on it.
to pull their weight, but yeah.
Okay, so you're motioning me, we'll break it up in two. Raj, David had to step away, so will you second?
No, I'm
Unless you
not
want to do it.
seconding.
You're not seconding. So the motion fails on the floor. I might adjourn the meeting tonight if you're unable to motion, if you're not going to do a
Yeah,
second.
sure, you can adjourn the meeting.
So we are down to 3 members, and
You're kidding.
Raj is refusing to second any motion, so this will cause the end of our meeting.
This is appalling, absolutely appalling.
Yeah, but I know that, you all the board members know what I felt on the very first day of my select board meeting. When I made a motion, all the select board members, not even a seconded my motion, and you
So you're gonna-
humiliated
You're
me.
going to drive this board to a halt because
No,
you're so.
that's fine, that's fine.
Nobody wants.
I'm fine with that.
That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous, you did whatever you did to me, okay? Whatever
I
you
didn't
did to
want
me
to
on the
second
day,
it.
it is ridiculous.
That's
Don't say that
preposterous.
all these things, please. Be on a call.
Raj, you got to speak, let him speak because he's remote.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Jay.
It's just preposterous. That's just somebody not doing their civic duty.
I am doing my job, okay? I'm doing my job. I'll say.
So, we're gonna recess for 5 minutes. So if we can go off the air for 5 minutes. I'm gonna go back to this one. There is a nomination to nominate me to be on the fire DPW feasibility study. Jay has motioned. I need a second.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none. David?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Jay?
Yes.
Raj?
I'm a voting member, I'm saying yes.
Okay, the next one is, I actually am gonna take a motion to have this move forward with the feasibility study for the Airmark. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. David?
Yep.
I'm a yes. Raj?
No.
Jay?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, Heather or Fay, someone
Yeah, I think we're,
do you have appointments that you want to go through, Heather?
yeah. Very briefly, we've managed the acknowledgement of the appointment of the acting police chief. And
Council on Aging Outreach.
Council on Aging Outreach.
Coordinator, Diane, Kyron.
Yep. I've provided the board with a review of a summary of her many credentials. She is, fun fact, she is fluent in Armenian, English, and Russian.
Oh, that's it.
How cool is that?
I think that's great.
She is very committed to elder care and was inspired by her experience as a caregiver to her aging parents facing health challenges as she worked through that. For anybody that's ever been through that with their own parents, you know the advocacy is a real thing, and that personally motivates her to work in this outreach capacity. She has some great experience working in the community. She's certainly very active. And I think we're very fortunate that she stepped forward. This is another one of those examples where somebody might not have the specific skill set that you're looking for with any formal municipal background, but when they have all of the transferable skills and components, you're hiring the person, not for the position, and I think she's gonna make a great addition, so.
I'm excited that we have that position filled and have someone.
Yeah.
So, you want to do the next one and we can do them together quickly?
Yep, so the next one is Lisa. She came forward, she is recently retired, she's a long-term resident. She is looking to give back and get involved in her community. She is a self-professed tree hugger. So I said conservation is, there you go. So she'll be an associate member and hopefully work her way up there. And then Mary Ambrose, this is a select board appointment. Jay, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Did you have a chance to talk with her?
I've called her. I did get a message that said she called in today and hasn't been able to connect with me, so I'll be reaching out to her.
I say we go for it anyways though, Jay, right?
I want to at least talk with her.
Okay.
All right. So I feel bad doing this.
Taking Mary off the table. It's okay. She's not going anywhere.
We're gonna postpone Mary to the next meeting, tell her we really like her. Just blame Jay. All right, so on everyone else, do I have a motion to appoint or acknowledge the appointment for both of these individuals? And I think one doesn't have a date, so that's good. The next one has a date of a term to expire April 30th, 2028. I don't see a date for the other one, so I just. Okay, so, perfect. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I will second, because apparently I'm the only one seconding.
No further discussion. David?
Yep.
I mean, yes. Raj?
Yes.
Jay?
Yep.
Great. God, Heather, town administrators report. I mean, do you want to do it?
So the only one that I really want to mention is that the Board of Health, so we have been amassing the opiate settlement
Yes.
and abatement funds for
Okay.
3 years.
And it's been a challenge to, a challenge to find an appropriate way to spend those funds. When we were working with the Worcester Alliance, they kept promising that that they would put something in place, and they just never did. So with the new alliance, with the new collaborative, and building on what is happening in the town of Grafton, the Board of Health met today with a organization called GAP, which stands for Guided Addiction Access Points, and they are looking to introduce their services to the town of West Boylston, and they are very anxious to continue the conversation. The Board of Health really enjoyed their presentation. It's really a very grassroots, which I think is something that works well in a community our size. We don't want to add any more layers of administration. We want people that are going to be in the field, meeting with our families, and working directly with people who need that assistance. So I'm looking to bring that as a formal presentation with the Board of Health back to a meeting, because you would be the one, this board would authorize the use of those funds. So, but I think with a solid recommendation from the Board of Health. And they're also looking to maybe establish a task force, yet another committee, that would be made up of community members that are directly impacted by addiction, that would be the overseers of this program.
Okay.
So that it takes it off both the Board of Health and off the Select Board, but puts it into the capacity of people that know what they're talking about. The town's housing production plan RFP is out. This is using grant funds to update the 2018 housing production plan. Those bids are due October 1st. Townwide Planning Committee, we have repurposed funds from a $3,000 balance from a capital planning article from about a decade ago. Rather than having it roll to free cash, we are going to repurpose it. It was originally for master plan planning, so it's an appropriate repurpose. And they are going to work with the Townwide Planning Committee to do a benchmark study, which basically is a way of saying that they're going to read the master plan paragraph by paragraph, chapter by chapter, and see what we can check off the list of things that the town has accomplished in the last 20 years, and then determine where to focus our efforts for the rewrite. And then lastly, I'm meeting tomorrow morning, hopefully I'll make it, at 8:30 to participate in the men's breakfast group. They meet at the West Boylston Senior Center.
I'm not going.
No, you're not going.
No.
And according to the newsletter, I'll be discussing my passion for public service, which
Don't sign up for a
maybe-
barbecue.
there'll be no barbecues, but hopefully by 8:30 in the morning, we're passionate again. So that's my report. Happy to answer any questions or concerns.
The report sounds fantastic. I'm going to go right into meeting invitations and announcements. Semi-annual town meeting is October 20th, 2025. Fall Fest, October 2025, October 25th, 2025. Apparently Seven Saws will be there. School Building Committee Public Forum will be September 30th at 7 p.m. at the middle high school. This will be a focus on regionalization. October 9th at 7 p.m. at the middle high school will focus on capital improvement planning for current school buildings. This is interesting. And October 14th at 7 p.m. will be Major Edwards with walkthrough, project overview, and 10/20 feasibility vote information. I'm just going to leave that right there. Are there any future agenda items or select board reports? Hearing none. I'm going to immediately go into executive session, move to enter into executive session under the provisions of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, Purpose 3, to discuss strategy with respect to litigation, DCR and the City of Worcester sewer transportation fees. And as chair, I declare that an open meeting discussion may be detrimental effect to the bargaining position of the public body, and we will not be returning into open session this evening. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second because apparently I'm the only one that can do that.
So you don't have to say it
Jay,
every
so
single time.
I,
You don't have to
Jay,
say that every single time, please, stop it. You don't have to say it every single time.
Just second something, Raj, that's all.
10
No.
months. I gotta make it,
Please stop it.
gotta make it, man.
Chair can
Jay.
second too. Chair can second this.
So, Jay, are you a yes?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Raj, yes. I'm a yes. David, you're a yes.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for